did this so lazy. Oh my gosh. I did this extremely lazy. Hold on. Oh my gosh. I was so ready to jump into doing this video or this stream. Um this is what I want. Swamp. Swamp Izzo. Okay. Cancel. Hit save. Change to save. All right, go. Okay, I did this so lazy. Yo, how we doing today? Um, okay, YouTube is doing too much right now. I'm changing a couple settings right now, but ultimately this is gonna be an addressing of the comment section when it comes to the video that was dropped today. I should do this more often, but I just don't. I should do this way more often. Age restriction set. Oh, leave. I'll handle that at a different time. Um, yeah. I want people to understand what this is. This isn't just a live stream where I come up here and just yap it out and talk about what's going on and all this other stuff like that because I genuinely don't care to do that. Am I closing YouTube while you're live? Okay, cool. Who cares? Hold on. Yeah, I genuinely don't care to just live stream and talk and yap and stuff more oftentimes, and what I hope to do in the future and uh what I hope happens in the future is that I get the opportunity to uh do this more often, and the only way to do this more often is if I have the support of you guys in the said community so we can have these discussions. First and foremost, I am not right. I am not a monolith. I don't have the only answers. I have an opinion and I give my commentary just like um, others give their opinions and um, have their own commentary. Uh, yeah, just like others give their opinions and give their commentary. I don't mind pushback. I actually welcome it. I think we grow based off of pushback. We don't grow by staying in these echo chambers in which people can just say whatever and keep it going. Uh Rakai. Wow, spelled want crazy wrong on Twitter. Um hold on. So when I saw the reception of this video, I thought this was a perfect opportunity. Now, I'm not gonna look down at anybody if they don't do it. But I encourage people to come up on um this panel and share your opinion. Tell me where I was wrong today. Let's have an open conversation about not just this, but hopefully the broader conversation that I was trying to bring to the table. Did I hoop today? Yes. I hope. Is that because I look like it? I hope that doesn't mean that I look like it. I hope. Wait. I hope this doesn't. This means I look like it. One, two. I appreciate the comments that the shades are tough. I appreciate that. My eyes are so shot that I have to wear yellow shades. So I appreciate it's more of a hey, this looks like a fashion statement as opposed to me preserving my eyeballs. I don't know if people know this, but I am way far back from my computer. Let me show y'all how far I would have to reach before I could touch the lens of my computer. My setup is pretty doggone far. So this is, I would have to go and walk and touch my thing right here. This is what my setup actually looks like. It's very, very far. With that being said, I squint religiously. I squint religiously in order to see my screen, no matter how big I make it. Maybe I need bigger screens, but yeah, after sitting in here making these videos, WNBA videos, thumbnails and titles for other people and stuff like that, doing other work, getting my taxes done, my eyes are shot. My eyes are shot. So yeah, I say all that to say, this is definitely the opportunity to leave your opinions, comments, questions, concerns about any and every video I make, but specifically tonight, I want to focus in on the Rakai thing. If you do have some other videos and talking points, we can bring those up. I don't mind taking on those things. Again, it's about having an open and honest dialogue. This person right here, I disagree with you often. Shouts out to Antonia Marshall. I disagree with you often, but it's nice to hear different perspectives. You aren't an expert on anything and you don't present yourself as such. Thank you. I'm just the dude who got fired from his job last year and decided to take YouTube seriously. Now, I do have a longer history in YouTube. I don't want to, negate that, but yeah, I got an opinion just like everybody else has an opinion. All right, let's get into the ball chat. Got to get some gunshots in there. First and foremost, I think it needs to be said. I don't know why it needs to be said, but apparently it needs to be said. There really isn't an action of Rakai that I deem to be like acceptable or agreeable or right. Oh, branded welcome for a guest. Okay, cool. I forgot. Let me invite people to the studio because I can go on this monologue, but I want to again give people the opportunity to get their shit off. Right. Wait. Let me pin this. Sorry. Sorry. Shout out to the Maxwell saying that he watches me. I'm addicted at 10K subs. Shout out to you. Oh, and also let me pin this on the video. Pin message. All right, so I pinned at the top of the stream the link to the stream. So you could come back here and you can have commentary. And then I'm gonna go to the video. Let me go to the video in and of itself. And I'm gonna pin this here. Like I said, come up on stage. Hey, put that link live now. Let me give people the notification that I'm live now. Hold on. Whoop. Live. My bad, y'all. I thought I was ready. Comment. Pin that comment. Pin that comment there. Let me create a community post. I promise you I'm almost ready. Create a post. Live now having a discussion. All right. And that's posted. All right, here we go. I agree with that one, the rant. Okay. So let me be clear. And I'll say it again, but I just said it. I don't condone an action of Rakai. I don't really condone an action of Rakai. I don't watch Rakai, so it's not like I'm a Rakai supporter. I promise you, I don't know. I know you good mud, and I know from the same thing. Cameraman. I remember his interactions with Bunna B. And I'm genuinely trying to think of any other Rakai content that I've consumed that I've been like, okay, this is very but I don't consume Rakai. I don't like his content per se from the perspective of like I'm a fan of Rakai. I've seen him one time in real life. in his home, in his bed, in the Clover House. But other than that, like, he doesn't know me. I don't know him. To be transparent though, next week, if I'm not mistaken, I am going to be doing some work for them. I may not even go on set, but I may be doing some behind the scenes stuff for them. But I want to establish that I have no relationship with him or anyone else uh around him, for real, for real. That's one. Two, I don't condone the actions. Him calling Mari a bitch, him saying go back to Mexico to El Rubio. Like, I don't condone those actions. I don't condone those actions. Um, that's it's not right. All these things are a part of the spectrum that plagues streaming on this side of the internet. This is the xenophobia, the homophobia, the misogyny, the racism, the did I miss one? Did I miss one? The bigotry? Did I miss one? Did I say misogyny? I said all these different things like that. Yeah, I think I said all these things. All these things are like a plague of streaming, but let me just go back and focus on it because people are going to want this. I don't condone those things from Rakai, full stop. The only thing that I was trying to present in this video was that we're mad at Rakai, but Rakai is a function of the system, right? Rakai is a function of the system that he exists in. Streaming rewards this. Why? Because the audience rewards streaming for doing these things. For what it's worth, and I don't want to play it. I'm not going to play it. There's still some people in my comment section to this day that will not do their due diligence and go forward with this. But iShowSpeed has said some insane things before. I appreciate this, Fiji the Finesser, for saying that at least be held accountable. Oh, I'm sorry, that's not what he said. I want to get into what this means, but at least be held accountable. But we'll get into it. There are streamers that have said, I promise you, said and done 10 times worse things than Rakai. And I'm talking about outright racism, saying slurs about people, alluding to essay and grape to other people on live, right? And I think the thing that people are hanging their hat on for him is not on these lines. Now, granted, again, all annoying to be fair, all not likable. That's an opinion-based thing. But I'm trying to tell you, this shit is surface level compared to the stuff that streaming has enabled for the past couple years. Now, I do think we are in a different day and age. This isn't the Modern Warfare 2 COD lobbies of old. So with that being said, a lot of the shit doesn't slide anymore. A lot of shit doesn't slide anymore. Because if it did, the creators of old would not be where they are today because they would be outright canceled. They would be outright canceled for their FF slur usage, their usage of the N-word, the homophobia, all these different things. They would be outright canceled. They would be straight up canceled. So I do think it's a new day and age. But I want to look up some things. Printer, I see you in the back. I'll get to you in a second. Again, this is an open dialogue. I am not here to, just rant it out, chat it out. I want to have an open dialogue as to, specifically where you disagree with the talking points that were made in the video, what it means to hold somebody accountable, what it means to condone these things. Because there's some terminology that I hate that we use in some of these conversations, and it actually bothers me. All right, first and foremost, I want to do this because I see somebody. Whataboutism is the strongest move in everyone's playbook. I don't know if that's directed here. I would just say this isn't a whataboutism. We can address him, and we should also address the system that enables him to be here. We should address all of it at one time. We really should. People have been asking to address this system for a long time. And then when the women get on stream and say, yo, guys, y'all are allowing this misogynistic behavior, a lot of people brush it over. When people say that this group or these selections of people are homophobic, a lot of people just brush it over because it's their favorite creator. Full stop. Two things can be true. Held accountable. Held accountable means requiring someone to accept responsibility for their actions. How can we? And I want to know how we can do that in real time with Rakai. Decisions or results, and to answer for any consequences. The reality is people keep consuming Rakai, Omizi, K-pop Mimi, Lee 277, Jaden R77, Motion for Always cannot hold Rakai accountable. Virtually, we cannot hold Rakai accountable. Two things can happen. We can either consume or not consume, right? That's the extent that we can go to. It implies being answerable to someone, such as a manager, public, or legal authority, for performance or behavior, often highlighting highlighting a, why is this comma here? Often highlighting a obligation to own mistakes or deliver on commitments. I don't know how you can do these things to somebody on the internet, is what I'm ultimately trying to get across here. To make someone responsible for what they do and demand a satisfactory reason for it, it is important to hold schools accountable for their performance. Managers were asked to set targets and hold themselves accountable for them. Again, other than give commentary and condemn, what else can be done? And for what it's worth, when we did the video, there was commentary where we condemned, and we did not condone said behavior. I got two people in the back. I'm about to bring y'all up in a second. I want people to understand what condone means too. Condone. Oh, excuse is the other one. Excuse is the other one. Condone means to accept, overlook, or forgive behavior that is generally considered wrong, offensive, or illegal, often by failing to take action against it. It implies giving tacit approval or allowing such actions to continue rather than condemning them. If you say you don't rock with him, if you say you don't understand why he's doing these things, if you're saying that he shouldn't do these things again, this is you condemning them. Let's look up the word condemn. I'm yap festing. To express strong disapproval of, officially declare someone guilty, or deem a building unsafe. Oh my gosh. It also refers to forced unpleasant circumstances of okay. To express strong disapproval of. To give someone an excuse. What does that mean? To give someone an excuse means to offer a reason, valid or fabricated, that explains why something was not done, to justify a mistake or to allow someone to avoid responsibility. I think that last part, justify a mistake or allow someone to avoid responsibility. Well, if you're saying that they should also take responsibility, there's no way that you can be giving them an excuse, as opposed to providing context. Giving an excuse aims to deflect responsibility and avoid consequences, while providing context explains why something happened, to deepen understanding without removing accountability. And I think that that's what 90% of people do when they say, well, he is 17. When people say that he is 17, they are legitimately saying, not to use this as an excuse, but to give context as to why the behavior is happening. But they still are saying in the beginning of that, I think what he said was messed up. If you say, I think what he said is messed up, he shouldn't have said that. That's you condemning the behavior and showing strong disapproval of said behavior. You can follow that up by saying he is 17, though. That is not giving an excuse. That is providing context as to why he might have said something. Now, with that being said, I could be wrong. Wholeheartedly, I would love to hear what people have to say. so we can have honest conversation about it. The link is pinned to the top of the space, or top of the space. This is what I don't get. As a black man, you're okay with this black minor acting the way he acts. Who said that I was okay with the way that Rakai acts? Can somebody point that out for me? Again, this is not to be confrontational about the subject matter. I truly want to have conversation. When did I say that I was okay with how he acts? And his close black friends are not saying anything. We celebrate Kia for being himself. I think he means Kai, but won't say nothing about him. It's crazy. Again, oh, I see Sierra, and I think Sierra is from the chat. You never said that, but you did, in a sense, play devil's advocate. Let's look up what devil's advocate means. I'm an advocate of looking up definition. A devil's advocate is someone who, regardless of their personal belief, takes an opposing or skeptical view in a discussion to test the strength of an argument, provoke debate, or explore alternative perspectives. Now, I will pose this in here, because this is me also taking a devil's advocate stance in this. Oftentimes in commentary videos, creators use angel's advocate, use devil's advocacy as a tool to further the conversation. So let me go to my channel. Let me go to my channel. In celebrity worship, I don't think I said it in this. Plus, also, people should watch these videos. As I talk about how people have this parasocial issue when it comes to celebrity and they are overstepping these boundaries, I may give out a bit of devil's advocacy and saying, now, do creators have some responsibility because they do give out all this information about themselves, make themselves more accessible, try to relate to fans on a one-on-one basis, therefore strengthening a bond and relationship with these fans, perceived by these fans? Sure, absolutely. But that does not justify them going to the extremes of taking a gun and pew-pewing Rihanna's home. That is me, quote unquote, playing devil's advocate in this conversation to an extent. I don't even necessarily believe that's devil's advocacy. That might be just bringing an opposing viewpoint and then like shooting it down. The devil's advocacy, though, is always shot down. Anytime that I say Rakai is like 17 or whatever the case may be, it's always met with, but that doesn't justify the actions, right? Am I wrong? If I'm wrong, let me know. Because I do say, hey, he is 17. And when we were 17, we did stupid stuff. People did stupid stuff, blah, 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 blah. The follow-up is, that doesn't excuse the behavior. Printer.
All right. First, to get out the way, I'm on the side of Rakai definitely deserves a majority of the criticism he gets. But I think like with most conversations happening on the internet, it got ruined by racism. And that's pretty much what diluted the entire conversation. Like I was all for everyone criticizing Rakai and all that, because I mean I consider myself one of his peers. He's 17, I'm 19. I can go outside right now, find a bunch of Rakais outside. They're all annoying to me. They just need to, like, honestly, those type of people, I wouldn't find myself hanging around. But I will say again, racism ruined this conversation, and now I'm all for Rakai doing whatever he wants to do now, because I mean they let guys like Jack Doherty, you know, he was walking around neon. They were doing their thing, and you know they got light criticism. But with Rakai, it's they got to send his ass home. Somebody get his mama. Conversation got ruined, but I'm really just an advocate of he's annoying. He definitely needs to settle it down. I used to think that until it became racist. But
I have no pushbacks. I think you know how I feel about certain race conversations. So, hey, brother, we're all good to go. Anything else?
Nah, that's it. I just want to get that off my chest.
I appreciate that. Let's bring up Potent. Oh, Potent, it says that you need to connect your mic/cam before you can add them to the stream. I don't think you have your mic or cam connected. I'm gonna kick you from the studio, and then when you join back up, just hit enable mic. Again, the pinned comment for those that are coming in is the access to the back end of the stream. That way you can join in and you can say your 2 cents and we can have a conversation. Mac. Return of the Mac.
Yo, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
All right, bet. I'm not gonna have my cam on if that's straight.
No, you don't have to. Whatever you want to do. I don't want to make anybody do what they need to do.
All right, bet. Well, first I want to say, hope you're doing good. But I think you're getting too caught up in maybe like some of the semantics of what people are saying. So, like when somebody says like devil's advocate or something like that, it's like, okay, well, let's look up the definition, and then it's like point me to exactly where I'm saying like this or that. Where people are, I think what people are saying is that maybe sometimes like when you say things in your videos or even like I forget who it was another streamer, but they were just like, hey, Rakai is not like the representative of all Black people. I agree with that. I think most people agree with that, but it's like with the platform he has, he's not really representing the best of Black people, where there are great, Black people, content creators who could do really good things. It's like you have somebody who pretty much acts like a caricature of what people would expect all the worst aspects of people. And while it's not a Black person's responsibility to act a certain way, it is their responsibility to be aware of their image and how they can pretty much be on top of those type of things. He doesn't have to be the perfect type of person or perfect role model, but calling somebody like an ugly bitch every time he's annoyed or upset with them, I don't know if that's really the right move. And then the people around him just essentially telling him everything straight, or he's got this special light about him or whatever else it is. I don't think it's sending the right message to him in terms of growth or development. And comparing it to Speed, I would say with Speed, you saw maybe.
Can I say this real quick? Because I do want people to know this. And the point that you had was comparing to Speed. This is something that is very like glossed over in these conversations. Do you think that you would be privy to the conversations that people have in which they condemn Rakai's actions? Like I'm talking about the Clover Boys, Kai Cenat, Duke Dennis, the people that are closest to him. Do you think that you would be privy to those conversations as a viewer?
No, definitely not. No.
Okay.
No.
And I don't. Let me say this. I'm not saying that that you think that you would be, but that's also another one that kind of a little bit grinds my gears.
No, I feel you.
Doing.
No, I feel you, and I know that you like closer to all of those guys than pretty much any of us would be. But
I'll say this: I'm not even saying that I know for sure. I know that we wouldn't know. Let me grant that. I don't know for sure either. I'm closer because of a past that I've had. But in 2026, you and I both have the same equal opportunity to run into Kai. The only difference maybe that I live in Atlanta, you may live somewhere else. I'm not saying that I know for sure. I'm saying that Kai Cenat would not hop on stream, pull Rakai into frame, and have a real dialogue with him about what he says and how it impacts for the fodder of the viewing audience. I don't think that would happen.
No, for sure not. It would definitely be off stream. And I know there's been instances where Kai has given people advice off stream before, and that's even got leaked before. So I don't know, stuff like that. You can't ever assume like what's being discussed. But if people are telling him that what he's doing is the wrong move, obviously he's not listening to them, right? So to go on stream and double down, calling someone an ugly bitch just because they said, hey, I don't really fuck with what you're doing right now, and it's immature. I mean, it just really hammers home the point of what people are already saying about him. Immature, doesn't really learn anything, which again is like the opposite of like Speed. I feel like Speed, you could see he would mature. He was actually capable of learning in some type of way. With Rakai, I almost feel like sort of this like arrested development where now that he's kind of on, he feels like he doesn't have to really do much else. He doesn't have to learn anything new. He doesn't have to get better, improve, because he already is where he wanted to be. So it's kind of like with his audience, people are seeing the way he acts. They're thinking this is the method. And that's not the way. I don't want young Black men to grow up thinking that seeing this guy is the correct way to act to get on or to impress people or whatever else it is, or to treat women in that way.
Let me say, because it's a lot of points and I definitely don't want to lose them. I might bring like a pen and a pad over here in a second. You're saying that today, but why do you think Rakai is who he is today?
Honestly, I think literally because of streaming culture.
And that's the only thing I was really trying to introduce. Now, I'm gonna say this: I do not agree or acknowledge the talking points of, and I'm not saying you were even like, wholeheartedly making these talking points, but hey, he's a representation of Black people. Other people are going to see this, and he needs to watch himself simply due to the fact that, he's doing the worst things for Black people. No, he's doing things as a representation of him, right?
No, yeah, I agree with that. I for sure agree.
Wholeheartedly, if I was a young kid and I grew up seeing the Aiden Rosses of the world, the Neons of the world, the Jack Dohertys of the world, the Rakais, Duke Dennis, Bruce Dropomoff, Your Age. I'm trying to think of who else. Did I say Speed? I don't know if I said Speed. And all the other streamers. And I saw that they were successful because they did this thing.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think I would do in order to get famous?
Yeah, that's the issue. I know the broader issue is definitely streaming culture, and I'm not saying that it is all that is like reflected based on his actions. What I'm trying to get home is that based on the way he's acting, it's getting him more attention. That's feeding him to make him think that he has to keep doing these things and upping the ante, and just kind of creating this cycle where he doesn't know where to stop. And it's like, what is the next evolution of that if there are other people who are watching this?
And for what it's worth, they're tamer. I would very much still argue that they are getting tamer, because people are not as forgiving, or we've become more of a progressive world. But with that being said, there's still the counter that says, and I'll have this video come out tomorrow, I want to say, there is the counter that says, hey, there are kids who are sticking forks and toasters on stream and driving cars into lakes on stream, and they're doing whatever they want to do for stream. So I think it's really a balance. Like, on one end, yeah, there are still people that are doing super duper extreme stuff. However, those people are quicker to come and go in 2026 as opposed to the past. Those people in the past that did the wild shit that we're talking about, those people are some of the biggest streamers today.
I would say the difference is that they branched off. They don't do that today.
I wouldn't say that.
Can you name an example?
Mizkif is an example. Mizkif used to do wild shit from my understanding.
Mizkif, but isn't he, does anybody in, like, I guess WL or anything like that, do they follow Mizkif? And doesn't he have like a pretty niche community? Wasn't he in a bunch of controversy last year?
Yeah, he was, but I wouldn't say niche. I think Mizkif still streams to thousands of people.
Yeah, but isn't it just a certain type of community that he streams to? And isn't he pretty unpopular, kind of like Rakai?
I get I would say he is still pretty unpopular, but an unpopular dude with like 10,000 live viewers are we really saying he's unpopular? I don't know.
Unpopular in the sense of, I guess, within the streaming community, like
within this specific section of the streaming community, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Within the streamers specifically.
I wouldn't say streamer. I would just say within this specific community.
Well, like, yeah, with the WL,
I
feel like WL and the Poggers, that's never gonna mix.
To anybody backstage, you are gonna get your chance. Please do not leave. I saw one dude leave. Please do not leave. I want everybody to get their fair shake. But go ahead, Mac.
Yeah. But yeah, just kind of touching again back onto that point about like Speed and Rakai. I feel like with Speed, you can see the maturity and the growth. He definitely was out of pocket for sure. I feel like a lot of people also talked about it. They didn't give him an excuse or a pass. He was banned off of Twitch for a long ass time. People distanced themselves. I do think he made a 180, but I think if you look at Speed now compared to Speed then, it's like almost a completely different person.
But when do you think that flip was made? Like that?
Honestly, I feel like it was gradual. It wasn't like an overnight type of thing. But have we seen anything like that with Rakai, or does it feel like he's only gotten worse over time?
I don't think he's gotten worse. I genuinely think he's been the same person. Like I don't. And mind you, I'm saying this as if I know super duper early Rakai, so I'm not gonna act like I'm a Rakai historian. But I don't know if I've seen like a change. There might be some big gap. For what it's worth, there's big gaps. The last time we talked about him was what, Christmas, and now it's April. Somebody said, bruh, you're tripping. He's gotten way worse. Do you think that he's got? Well, somebody would have to elaborate on that. Again, I'm not a Rakai historian, so I don't know what he was doing at the beginning versus where he is now.
I don't know if way worse is like appropriate. Maybe I could have used a different word.
Take way out of it. Take way out of it.
Yeah, I would say it maybe just goes back to that point of like money will exaggerate your personality. So maybe he is like the same type of person, but it's definitely kind of blown up more that he's gotten an audience, he's gotten money, he's gotten success, gotten a taste of all of that. But also he knows that the more he does these crazy things, the more he's going to get clipped, the more he's going to gain an audience. So it's just, again, he's just going to keep doing more out of pocket shit to get that attention. He feels like that's the method, and it's been proven that it kind of is the method. But if we could, again, get somebody, pretty much, I feel like you could say that Rakai was endorsed by a bunch of people, whether it was like AMP, Kai specifically, or whatever else. Who knows if he would have been as successful or as big as he is now if it weren't for that. If it were another content creator who wasn't Rakai, it's possible that they could be just as good. So I think a lot of people's criticisms comes from who's chosen to be these guys who are put on, I guess, sort of these opportunities to be a streamer or to get attention or whatever else. And then also the lack of accountability or excuses. I don't want to dogpile on like a 17-year-old. He's a kid at the end of the day, but still, I feel like it's fair to give criticism so people can grow, improve, and also just so people can learn. If we're constantly excusing behavior and saying like, well, it's not too bad, or, well, there's way worse that other people do, then, I mean, it's just going to constantly be something that people sweep under the rug. And yeah, there won't really ever be any type of improvement or growth, I feel like.
The only thing that I will say there is that I do agree that if people are saying there's way worse, and that well, it's not that bad, I do believe that is an excuse, right? Because then that is a attempt to justify the action. If they are then using it as a vehicle to open up a different conversation, then I think that that's perfectly fine. By saying, hey, it is way worse, and now we have to examine, why do we let the way worse go? Why do we let the way worse go? How do we even get here to this point where this person thinks that this is okay, et cetera, et cetera. But I do agree, if it's there's way worse, we shouldn't even be talking about this. That's a bit extreme.
Yeah, not for sure. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much my main points that I had. Again, I feel like you have some fair points and fair criticisms. I don't think that you should take everything that people are saying like directly to heart, is like verbatim, like word for word what they're saying. I think they're just like maybe seeing that you're more skeptical of just like immediately dogpiling on somebody. And that's just how the internet works. So I would say just keep doing what you're doing and appreciate it.
Appreciate you, Matt. Appreciate you. Shouts out to, because we're here, Wavy Kevin. My bad.
He's on fire
for $5. Do you think Rakai should have that much influence at 17 years old? I don't know how to answer that question, but I guess that's a question for the community to answer. Do you think Rakai should have that much influence at 17 years old? Am I the dictator of who is influential? And does his age, kind of dictate if he can or cannot be somebody who is of influence or not? Again, I am going down this line. We got about 4 people. I'll try to get through these as fast as possible so we can have conversation and get everybody's viewpoints and opinions. Shouts out to Nailing It. How you doing today? Nailing it. All right, we'll go to the next one. Jordan, how you doing today?
My bad. Can you hear me?
No, we can hear you.
All right. Yeah. Excuse me if I'm speaking a little low. I just got off work, but
You good? You got off work?
yeah. I just had a bit of a long shift today.
Gotta quit your job. Gotta get to the Unemployed News Network.
I got to. I'm telling you, man. But I just want to preface this by saying, like, I didn't watch like your video specifically on this topic. I saw like I watched the podcast that you had done, talk kind of going over the topic, but I just like obviously like to start off, like I don't want to like discuss like the racism, like all the other stuff that we can all acknowledge is like clearly wrong and clearly like rooted in like a deeper bias and like other conversations. Like I feel like that's a different conversation for today, like for a different day, or honestly even for today, because you never want to ignore those kind of topics. But I just feel like kind of the way people like are attacking this topic is like we've brought it into such like a broad conversation, and to like, oh, what, like how much leeway should we give like younger people, like adolescent, like teenagers and stuff like that for the reckless actions they do. And I kind of just want to more focus on like the incident in itself, because I feel like a lot of times when these kind of incidents happen with like younger content creators, streamers, YouTubers, or whatever, we kind of always branch out into broader topics. Like we focus more on the general rather than attacking like the specific topic. So I feel like when we like discussing this topic specifically, like I think it's like okay to like just focus on the fact that, hey, it's not okay to like, call people out their names. It's not okay to say certain things or act certain ways that you do. But when we like branch out to bigger topics, we kind of lose focus on that specifically. I don't know if I'm making any sense here, but I feel like every time like I'm seeing like, because like you, I don't really follow Rakai or like a lot of streamers. I'm not really like into that kind of content. But whenever I see like clips of that, I feel like it always blows up so much that like the focus on like each incident kind of strays away from like the actual like matter at hand, and we don't end up addressing or like trying to help these people improve. And like granted, like yes, he's young, he's what, I don't know, 16, 17, like we should give some leeway. But I also feel like, I'm sure as you know, like when you were 16 or 17 and you did something out of pocket, like if you were being criticized or kind of reprimanded for those kind of actions, the conversation wouldn't lead off with, oh well, he's 16, he's 17, let's give him some leeway. It would start off with, what you're doing is wrong, and we're going to focus on this, and we're going to kind of make it, we're going to try to see how we can move forward in a better space. But I feel like a lot of times these days I don't want to say we're like just giving, like just like letting it go, but like I feel like we always start off these conversations with, oh, he's super young, he's super, he still has time to grow, he still has all this to do. But I feel like that's like almost like infantilizing him as a person, like, and not like actually giving him the space to grow, if that makes any sense.
I understand what you're saying. The only pushback that I would give is that the internet moves insanely fast. So you got to get both points off in the same segment. But I can agree that sometimes people do speed past that point to get to a different point. But at the end of the day, and I'm about to speed past it now because it sounds crazy.
Yeah,
not intentionally, but it's ultimately gonna get sped past. At the end of the day, he is young. He's young. No, I'm not sorry. No, he's young. He should not be saying these things. This is wrong to say. I believe that it's wrong to call Mari or these other women a bitch. I wasn't raised this way. I disagree with the notion and the sentiment. Shit is weird. Like he just shouldn't be saying this.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, in fairness, yeah, like you are right. Like the internet, like, it gives like a lot of room for like a lot of people who don't know you to like give their comments, and it also moves very fast paced. So you just have to get in what you have to get in the moment. Otherwise people aren't going to care like the next week or whatever. I don't know. I just feel like a lot of times we end up speeding past stuff, and that kind of enables like, and I'm just using Rakai because that's the topic of the day or the topic of the week, but it enables him to like continue, like, oh, he'll speed past it. And in his mind, it's like, okay, cool. I got like a week of criticism. Everything blew up and then it died down and everyone forgets about it. And then we're running into another incident like a month later or 2 months later or whatever. And I feel like that's not like real path for like actual growth. Like that's not like a real like way to like actually like develop as a person, or develop as like a respectable young adult, and like moving on into your adulthood. But I mean, you are right. Like the internet doesn't focus on the topic for more than like a week, so there's only so much you can do.
Yeah. Anything else, Jordan?
Nah, man. Nah. I just hope you have a blessed day. You know, big fan over here, so I'm gonna just keep watching, keep being a
Same
solid
here.
majority. So
Appreciate it. Let's keep going. Keep it going. Mr. E Robot.
Yo, how's it going?
How about you?
Good fellow unemployed here.
There we go. No job.
I kid. I got a job, but I have the unemployed mindset.
There we go. I like that too.
So,
Go ahead.
I think the point has been belabored about Rakai specifically. So I wanted to speak more about the way he's been enabled in general. The fact that we're having this conversation again, or that it's in the zeitgeist again, is just a point that I feel like we need to speak about, because he's one of the biggest Black creators on Twitch right now, and that was because the system enabled him to be so. Some of the biggest streamer propped him up to be the next, essentially the next big streamer there. And I feel like he shouldn't have gotten it because he's still too young to handle that kind of power. That's my point in general. We're speaking about an example like Speed, but Speed got there as an anomaly. It's not most people, like even you see with kids in Hollywood and stuff like that, a huge percentage of them fail, they don't succeed. And Speed didn't start off as big as he is now. He kind of worked into it. Same thing with Kai. He worked into it over time, right?
Well, no, that's not. Well, I got to give you pushback there. The same boost that Rakai is getting, Speed got too. The infamous Ash Cash line was delivered on Aiden Ross's stream, who at the time was the biggest streamer in the WO community.
Yeah, but did he get pushback for that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So no, I mean, it's not as extreme as Rakai is, but it's.
But is Rakai not getting pushback for this?
Was he banned for? I mean, he got banned for the other thing, and then he got back in like 2 days because people protected him from running back.
From my, I don't, at least through the research, and the research is scatterbrained. Somebody would have to fill it in the chat. He did not get banned specifically for that. But let's say he did get specifically banned for that. He's also said egregious things before that of the same ilk on bigger people streams, and did not get banned for those things. And then that might have been the catalyst moment. But I don't think that he got banned for that. Somebody said, what's the link to join the call? It's at the top of the chat on YouTube. But go ahead.
Yeah, I get it. Like, even what Rakai does in general is not to that ilk. I heard there was the whole thing with Speed where he was in an Overwatch call and he said some sexist things and stuff like that. I get it. But I feel like...
Oh, yeah, that was it. I forgot about that one.
It's semantics at this point, but what I'm saying is we've gotten progress at this point where the WL community has become the it thing now, right? It's younger, more diverse voices are being heard on places like Twitch and YouTube. I just feel like now that there's this one black egg, or what's the word? Black sheep that's there, that's constantly, like, even from the whole Mr. Beast video, all we're talking about is Rakai now because of one small thing, and he not seeing that as a moment to kind of, or the people around him not seeing that as a moment to make things better for the people he represents, is what I'm trying to say. Is, but
again, if he's not having one, again, we wouldn't be privy to those conversations. We're not, like, whether Kai condemns them or condones them, whether Phantom or Davis condemns them or condones them, whether Ray condemns them or condones them, we're not going to be privy to those conversations. No different than if you got a homeboy or a partner who is wrong in public, you're probably not, most people are not going to condemn them in public. You're going to condemn them privately.
Yeah. Well, all I can speak to is the results, right?
Yeah, and that's fair. I don't know if it's fair to in your speaking to the results, attribute that to like, and I'm not saying you inherently are doing this, but I don't know if it's fair to then pass the buck on to say Duke Dennis is not doing his job because Rakai keeps going out there and saying,
hey, I'm not gonna put it on any of the people who are around him that we all keep saying he's a kid, but if he goes out and a crime happens that's costing someone else's life, they're not gonna arrest the other person, they're gonna arrest the guy.
But people do, and this is just in late conversations. If somebody does do something that is bad or negative, commits a crime or whatever the case may be, we often see people say, "Oh, what's wrong with his mother?" And it's like, well, he's 26. Like, I don't know if I would just attribute that to another person as opposed to holding this person, quote unquote, accountable in this specific time.
So my whole point in general, I'm not I'm an older guy, I'm 36. I've come through the ages of where you see things in teen shows like on Disney, on Nickelodeon, where kids and younger professionals that are in entertainment are not protected correctly. And now with streaming as a new industry itself, having someone as young as him in front of everybody without the proper structure to support him and he's funny, like he's entertaining, like there's the talent is there, you can see it. I just feel like he needs a better support system that directs us in the right path. I'm sure it's turned out better, but at this point, this is all we're hearing about right now, and I just feel like.
Again, I can't. For me specifically, I can't talk about the support system because I don't know what the support system does inherently. Like, I don't know if they're sitting down and talking to him. He's just saying that, they're bad faith for, or that they're bad because he continues to do X, Y, and Z in elemental P. I would hate if somebody were to say those things about me based on the actions of my children. That I am, and I see people in the comment section saying that a bad mother or a bad father. Granted, you may have seen more than me. She might have directly said some things and you may be privy to them. I don't know those things. I wouldn't say those things, especially if this person is has full autonomy.
Yeah. I'm not here to judge anyone on like the power he has its good and bad, right? His whole family is set off well now. There are people who do worse things out there, and they still get and they don't get as much criticism as he does, right? There goes that race thing, right? For every good that he does, he's gonna be double scrutinized for the bad that he does, because there's always a misconception that they're gonna have to fight about being what did he call himself? A young black I forgot the thing it was he called himself, but I just feel like as the kind of person he is, even with the racism is facing now, we've already said it before. People like Jack Doherty, his race never comes into discussion when he does something bad. Adrian Ross, if he does something bad, his race never comes into discussion. But the moment someone like Rakai does something like that, he's fighting a dual-sided war in that point, right? Where he's representing a particular group, and anytime he himself makes one mistake, you're just giving the degenerates online more ammo to criticize the whole group, which is not right? But that gives him more of a, in my opinion, more of a, like, I'm an immigrant, I'm Nigerian, I came here. Right from the moment when I came here, I had always been very cautious on the way I present myself to the public, right? Like, because I know what I represent when I'm here. And I feel like when you're broadcasting to thousands of people at a time, I feel like you should have that at the back of your mind. It's not right, but it's the reality we live with. And I feel like people like Kai, Speed, and the bigger creators are an example of what you can do and are like a blueprint. And I feel like he's better now.
Well, let me interrupt there. For what it's worth, they have, most of the people that we're naming have piss poor beginnings just like him.
Yeah, that's what. But But what I'm saying is they didn't have at this point he is now, they didn't have the reach that he has.
That's not. I don't know if that's true.
Kai was at 17, 18. He had 20K viewers concurrent. I don't know. I'm literally asking. I don't know.
Let me ask, because I don't think Kai Cenat was streaming at 17 or 18, but Kai Cenat was a big YouTuber, and maybe not at 17 or 18, but definitely if we talk, I don't the age part is a little irrelevant to me, because if Kai started creating content at 19 or whatever the case may be, then I don't know. Yeah, Kai was big on Facebook. Speed said was making R-word jokes in 2021. That is how many years ago now? 5 years. He's 21 now, so that would, and he was
16.
again on Aiden Ross's stream. So big streamers with big reaches. I wouldn't be able to necessarily go back and look at.
Okay. But in general, my final point. He's being propped up. The fact that he's being propped up, just that gives him more of a responsibility to represent the people that he's being propped up as in a better light. So for every progress that someone like Kai makes, every bad thing that Rakai does is gonna come back as a reflection of what Kai does too. So
yeah,
I feel like he needs to do better.
I think people who, with all due respect, make those types of analysis, like Rakai does something bad. It's why is Kai, like this is a knock on Kai. That's bad. That's awful.
It's not correct. The logic doesn't make sense to me. Yeah. But the internet is not known as a logical and fair place.
Well, I'm having a conversation with you, so I don't. If you don't believe it, you don't have to say that.
I'm speaking. No, I'm speaking more to the point of how people react to things.
We should condemn that. We should condemn that line of thinking, though.
Yeah, I can condemn it from all days today. That doesn't mean I'm going to change the internet's
and that's ideology. Fine. I wouldn't have brought it up in conversation, but
yeah.
Okay.
All right, man.
Appreciate you, Mystery Robot.
You got it.
All right. On to the next one. A lot more people joining, so just gonna continue down this. Misha loves you. Misha?
Yes, you can hear me.
I can hear you. Is it Misha?
Yes, it is.
All right, Misha, how you doing today?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm fantastic. Couldn't be better.
That's good. Okay, so I think for me, it's rather disappointing to see a lot of us Black people I'm a mom, right? And I will consider myself a YouTube girly for a long time. I grew up on YouTube. YouTube was my TV. This is no different to me than watching Nickelodeon and Disney back in the day and seeing things that's done on those. We don't know what's going on in the background, but now we're finding out now, right? It's no different to me. Streaming gives acting without the cutscenes, without the changing, and without everything else. I don't really see how, for one, how his mother has become a target, how people are calling his mom and threatening her, calling his friends and threatening. I can understand criticism. I can even understand people not liking his behavior. I could understand coming online and him being annoying or whatever the case may be or whatever but you don't have to watch, right? You can click off, right? Nobody has a gun to your head. You could definitely just go ahead and click off. So for me, I don't understand how it went from criticism to death threats. And what exactly is everybody expecting? That held accountability thing, what do you guys want to happen to him to satisfy the held accountability part or whatever y'all coming up with. What would satisfy people to make them feel like, okay, he's being held accountable? Should he go to jail? Would we rather him outside killing people rather than being in front of a computer streaming? He's doing a job. If you watch Rakai and you watch him on a regular, I have a son, right? It is my job to, a lot of times when I see my son watching, I am there. It is my job to direct him on what's wrong, what's right, what not to do, what to do. Even if he is influential, it's my job as a parent to make sure that I orchestrate that and make sure all that is not penetrating his brain and doing different things. The thing I worry about is that he's 17. Okay, cool. At what age do your frontal lobes stop developing?
25.
So it's a whole lot of damage right now. I would be traumatized if I was him. And then at the same time, a part of me feels bad because, yeah, I'm a mom. Another part of me says, he's doing a damn job. Like, what are we doing here? And I'm not a single mother. My child's father is in his life. So I don't understand. I just feel like it's a lot. It's a lot to see that. And even when his mom came on the stream and talked, and there's people saying that she shouldn't say that he has a light, but that's her child. What are we expecting for her to do? I, it's kind of weird. It's weird, and it's uncomfortable to know that that's going on. And then I think about his mental health. I'm a mental health therapist, so I think about his mind, his development, what happens now, because he is basically, I would look at him as a child actor. What happens now? And so it's a lot, and I think that I watch your videos a lot, and I don't
Mhm.
see that you are biased to one. You're, I don't think you're biased at all. I think you break down things and you give both perspectives and you give your own perspective, and you allow people to see past just the front of everything. I don't think anybody looks past certain things. Nobody gives grace. We wake up every day with air in our lungs and whether you believe in a God or not, God gives grace. We wake up and sometimes we do the same thing all over again. So why can't we extend grace to people? It's just sad to watch. It's very sad to watch. So that's basically my opinion. I think you're doing an awesome job. You're doing a great job because you allow not only this, but you make videos and you show both sides. You show the side of what's behind the camera, you show a side what's in front of the camera. And I do appreciate that. But I think the backlash, like right now, yeah, no. No, I don't think it should be happening. I
Okay.
really don't. And honestly, without him on that show, it would be boring. And and that's just that. Had he not did all the antics and all the little things, it would have been boring. Nobody would be talking about it right now. So who do we blame on that?
Mm.
I mean,
I,
yeah.
yeah. Um, I appreciate you. I appreciate you.
Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you for giving space for everybody to talk.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. We'll go to the next person. Uh, let's go to W. W. Just the letter W.
Yo, my bad. Yeah.
How you doing
I
today?
I'm good, bro. I'm good. Kind of got lost in that last chat a little bit, so let me get my head together a little and see what I'm trying to say here. I don't know, bro. I think, yeah, I just don't really like the he's 17 thing. It was okay in the beginning when we first knew about.
Hello?
He's 17, now what? You know, I kind of feel like the he's 17 thing should.
I want you to know you gapped out for a second.
Oh, my bad. No, I'm just saying, like, I feel like the whole he's 17 thing, it's more for he's grown, and when we look back at what he was doing in the past, then we could be like, well, you know, he was 17, da, da, da. But when it's actively happening in the moment, I don't think people should be on that.
Hello? Hello? Okay. On to the next person. I mean, well, y'all can see both of my hands aren't. I didn't do anything. DBR.
Yo, can you hear me? Coming through.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. I've been watching Rakai for a bit. I think, from my point of view, because I'm 21 now, right? He's fun. Don't get me wrong, but he doesn't have that much of a role model in the sense of someone that can actually sit him down or be honest with him. Now, I think the streamers that are around him right now, I don't know how much they would help him if he wasn't as big or have as much attention or as much money as he has right now. He's 17. So, like you said, because I watched your video earlier, I don't know how much people would still be around him if he wasn't this big. Now, he's not the most creative type of person. And I do understand, because when I was 17, I did a lot of fucked up shit. The only reason people don't know about it is because I didn't televise it. There was little to no like internet to like have it broadcasted to everyone, and I really didn't do my best to try and like do social media or that kind of stuff. So, but him leaving this level and emphasis on the level of digital footprint is a big problem. And I don't think people realize that because he's rich and successful now. It's similar to Clavicular, like this level of digital footprint, you don't see it now because you're what, 17, 18, 19, 20. But I work full-time. I work a corporate job, right? I don't see where he would fit in if he wasn't a streamer.
Respectfully speaking, like his digital footprint won't matter when he's your age or my age. It won't matter. Rakai makes like, let's just say months where he's made millions of dollars. Like if he does need to step back into any sort of work world, it'll be on a total flop from him in regards as to how he handled his finances and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it won't matter. This won't matter.
You have to think of how he tends to market himself, because you can say it won't matter now, and that's fine now. But this, especially content creation, the money fluctuates. You might have a deal one day and you might lose it the next day.
As long as he's with the people that he's with, he will forever be making bread game. And again, if he can't manage his mom or whatever collective he has, can't manage, like I said, millions of dollars a month, then that's a whole different conversation. Like that's something different. But I think I don't really want to hammer this point home. Just the whole concept of like digital footprint to me in 2026 kind of doesn't matter. I thought it did too. It doesn't.
Is that subjective though? I think it's subjective though.
Tell me somebody whose digital footprint has really like ruined them. I don't know.
Like as a content creator or like as a streamer?
Yeah.
I think people have evolved. Someone like Speed, when he got into like having football like sessions, and I think he has evolved. I think Eddie Ross did change a little bit, but you can see Aiden Ross as well has been affected in some way due to some of his previous actions and his streams.
He's a multimillionaire. Aiden's up, super up.
You got to think on a market level. So who would market Rakai?
Under Armour.
He has deals now, but as the time gets older, if he keeps acting the way he does, it's much less likely that he's going to be making that much more money.
Why would I think things would change other than like maybe some audiences move away from him due to age? But again, saying that after having 6 years where he's netted $10 million a year, I don't know. Digital footprint doesn't matter anymore. Like the way that we dole out forgiveness and dole out kindness and all this other stuff like that, it won't matter. It really won't. And for what it's worth, he's not even at the bottom yet, right? Like he's not a Kick streamer, Rumble streamer. He's not going down the red pill route. He's not taking gambling deals. He hasn't even scratched the surface of somebody who I would think is like, oh, you're on the brink, gang.
Here's what
I'm gonna make a month. No funny shit.
Here's what I'm gonna say. I think just because he's rich doesn't mean it wouldn't matter, or doesn't mean it doesn't matter. Because he's rich now, right? And he's 17 now. But at the same time, people are taking him way more serious because he has this much attention and this much influence, and he's rich. But I don't think people would do the same if he wasn't. That's a very big thing, because like I said, content creation will change as time goes on. We don't know what the future of Twitch is. We don't know what the future of other streaming platforms are. We don't know what kind of regulations they might impose as time goes on. But I don't think, one, he's not a good role model. I don't think he has people that are actually telling him the truth. I think when you spoke about, I think it was condone versus the word condemn, right? Now, the two different words. Condone means you're doing your best to, well, justify or bring light as to why something is, and condemn means you're flat out saying no matter what, that just shouldn't be it. Do I condone his actions? Well, no, because I wouldn't do as much as he has done at 17 in terms of his actions. And I don't think many people around him will tell him the truth. Like you said, he is successful, but he's successful now. I don't think it lasts. This is content creation. I don't think it lasts as long as people expect it to. And like you said, you can say he's marketable now, but as time goes on, will he still be as marketable as he is? Because it takes one thing, especially when it comes to social media, for you to just try and apologize and everything going downhill, and now you ain't got that much money anymore. And now I don't even think his mom would have said that on the phone if he really wasn't doing so well in this. Like, I don't think that would be the case.
Well, let me be clear, because people in the chat are also missing what I'm saying. I'm not saying that he'll forever have money coming in, as long as he might truly do, but I'm not saying that he'll forever. I'm saying it doesn't matter because he will have accumulated all the dollars. And again, that's where like Myron and them and all these like red pill grifters come in. Their logic is, hey gang, I'm gonna crash out.
Yeah.
But when I crash out, I know every single month I'm netting $1 million. Every single year I'm netting 12. And I'm just gonna try to straddle. I'm just gonna try to ride this train until the train falls off. If it does fall, when it does fall, whether it be a year from now or if it be 10 years from now, ultimately I made $12 million every year for the past 10 years. And so at the end of the day, when 10 years goes by and somebody's like, see, I told you that this wasn't a forever thing, I don't care, because I would have made $1 billion. that right? 12 times 10. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, it's crazy money streaming, man.
So, but that's what I'm saying. Like when I say the digital footprint doesn't matter, what I mean by that is it doesn't matter because at the end of it all, I will have reaped every single benefit. And we have a system, which I was trying to attack in here. We have a system that enables this behavior that says, hey, this is the way to get like rich and successful and famous and all these other stuff like that. So I'm reading this person right here. This is from the Omnius Penguin. So even if you went broke, you wouldn't care because you had it at one point before. To some people, yes. To some people, yes, is what I'm saying. If Rakai has to do all these things, get up, sniff these seats, wear wigs, call this person a bitch, that person a this, that, and the third, in order to get as much money as possible, it's fine. Because he now has a lot of money. And even if there's one day where the well is dry, he can say he has that amount of money or had that amount of money. Well, far greater than any of his peers. And I'm talking about his like peers being who he went to middle school with, who he went to high school with. The
Rakai situation is not something I try to dwell on a lot because, well, he is young, but if he keeps making a habit, obviously the people around him are gonna try to, as much as possible, to distance themselves. And that draws back to my other point. You mentioned in your video about them needing him more as compared to them needing him a lot more as of now as compared to him needing them, something like that, because of obviously all the attention and stuff that he currently gets. Fair enough, but I think at this point in your life, when you're 17, 18 and you're growing up, it's best to have genuine people that usually tell you the truth. Like, I don't think he has that. And I know there's this culture of, rage bait and clickbait culture, and do your very best to just garner as much attention as you can. And I get what the point you're coming from, that most people, or I don't know if it's most, but some people wouldn't care if, well, they lose it the next year, because hey, if they were raking in millions a month, well, and they managed to do something better with it, well. But at the same time, if you continue this way, then the people who you have influenced will carry this on, if that makes sense.
fair. And again, that's why we should talk about the system as opposed to the creator. But I think all of it's a fine conversation.
I appreciate it. Personally, I would want to see a lot more creativity, especially within streaming, within creators in general. I feel like that is slowly dying in terms of what is content nowadays. What is it classed as? I know there are different niches, but especially IRL, like, what is it now? So
yeah, ain't no money in creating, gang. So
it's all rage bait, it's all clickbait, it's all what gets the first few clicks and views and stuff like that.
Yeah. Appreciate you, DBR.
Thank you.
All right. Let's keep chugging along, gang.
Come on, man.
Come on, man.
Hey. Okay, what's up, Omeezy?
How you doing?
Great. First, I want to say to everybody, because I've been listening, stop saying Rakai need to do this, Rakai need to do that. Y'all talking about an online character, a persona, a made-up person. There's a Rakai, the guy, whoever he is off camera, and unless you've been around him a whole day to know what he's doing off camera, you don't know him. And then there's a Rakai, the streamer, who has a chat that wants, expects, and look forward to him acting the way he act, because they're all within his demographic. Y'all keep harping on the fact that he's 17. Okay, my rhetorical question is, the shows like Baddies and Love and Hip Hop, none of them people 17. But y'all glorify these shows, and everybody on these shows fighting and arguing and calling each other bitches, and even taking it out into the real world, shooting each other and fighting each other. But nobody gets mad about that. Nobody says nothing about that. But Rakai get on here and give the chat basically what they want. They want him to act crazy. They want him to act mad, do all the stuff he doing. And then on top of that, to sit there and try to diss his mama, like, oh, she just letting him be a wild child and he running around whoop de whoop de whoop. He's 17. Now that there's money involved in his life, he ain't doing nothing without his mama's consent. She know everything that's going on because legally he ain't signing no paperwork without her consent at 17. Just even be on that Mr. Beast show, I guarantee his mom had to sign some kind of paperwork as well for him to be on there. Nobody gets mad at all this other stuff. And let me just give my example. Michael Rainey Jr. in the height of his career, he bided a character called Tyreek on Power, which was one of the biggest shows on TV at the time. Everything that Rakai's saying, people doing to him right now, the death threats, the I hate yous, I want you to die, all this crazy stuff, they were doing that to Michael Rainey Jr. because he bodied that character Tyreek. People was hating Tyreek. People was hating Tyreek. He's a character. He's not Michael Rainey Jr. They were hating Tyreek. And it's like people don't know how to untwist being real and being content. That's what the parasocial stuff is. You can't say what he need to do this and he need to do that when you're talking about a made up character that he's playing. He rage baiting. Y'all expect him to do all the wild and crazy stuff he do. So if it's gonna make you mad, it's gonna keep you talking about it, it's gonna keep you hating. Guess what? He gonna keep on doing it all the way to the bank. Nobody knows the phone calls he may get before or after a stream that says do. You don't know if somebody encouraged him to do the stuff that he doing, because at the end of the day, if it was that bad, why he ain't locked up yet? He know how far he can go, because when he was just in his mama house with that little steering wheel and cussing and doing all this same stuff he doing now, and he had no money, nobody gave a damn. But once he met Kai and got a little money and got a little house and got a little fame, now y'all all mad at him doing the same stuff he was doing before. He just done got older. And you can't blame it on, oh, he's 17, and because the grown people that y'all watching doing all this stuff, you ain't mad at them. I mean, it's just like Speed. Y'all keep bringing up Speed. Y'all think Speed walking around in real life hitting backflips every 5 minutes and barking at people? No. Y'all think Omeezy got a closet full of Bill Cosby sweaters? No. He wear that stuff because he know y'all like to see it. Y'all been asking for, man, we love your sweaters. Where's the next sweater? So, of course, he gonna wear one in the next video. Look what he got on now. That's probably his everyday look. And I I ain't trying to be
Why you don't think I wear the sweaters in real life? I'm like, what the?
I mean, I'm not saying you don't wear them, but I'm saying that's not your, like, you ain't every day walking around with one of them sweaters. It's kind of like it became the thing on your videos. They want to see that sweater, so that's what you give them. You know what I mean? And it's the same thing, but to the extreme with Rakai. They want to see. I mean, because what do y'all want him to do? Sit there and just fold his hands and sing gospel songs? Would y'all really watch that? Like, what do they want him to do if he's not being who he is, who he has created? He's created an untouchable character. Kai Cenat is not the Kai Cenat you see, on the videos. When you see him out in person, you probably got to double take to make sure that was even really him. Speed ain't walking around barking and flipping everywhere he go. Like, people create their characters that they making money with, and then they are who they are off camera. And can't nobody say what need to be done and who the people around him and all that stuff, because you're basing that on who you're watching, not who the person is. You get what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying.
And I feel like that's the parasocialness of all of it, is that people get too intertwined in what they think is these people's real lives when it's not. Just like you mentioned earlier, I got to go over there. I got to do some work with them. You see these people when the cameras are off. Hey, do people just be running around the house and acting like they on stream when they're not?
A little bit.
But not to the extreme of if they were sitting there being able to clip farm and you know and do all the stuff that they want you to see. Because I mean, they don't want you to see everything. You know, people don't see when they signing contracts, and people don't see when phone calls have to be made with doing real business. People don't see all the stuff, all that stuff. They just see when these folk get on camera and be on 10, because that's what the chat want. If they wasn't giving you that, what the first thing they gonna be in the chat saying? This boring. Come on, man. You know they gonna start complaining. Just like, let me look at your chat, because I'm surprised they ain't saying I'm yapping, but I'm a
No, they
yap.
are. They are.
I don't care, because I can yap. But I mean, I'm gonna get up off. If you got any questions for me, go ahead, bro.
No, I mean you got it.
I mean, because I enjoy your videos. I like to watch them. I like to hear good commentary, and I like for people to get to the stuff that ain't nobody else talking about, but make it the reality. If people get out their parasocial heads and stop thinking you know these people just because you're watching them every day, you don't know them. You know their character. That's my main point. You don't know the real person behind the streamer unless you really know that person.
I appreciate you.
Thank you so much, bro.
No problem. Have a good one.
All right.
I'm only going to address this once because he's like begging for the attention. Scott Leonard, this is the opportunity, because you ask oftentimes for me to react to you or comment on you or commentate on you or do all these other things. The link is at the top. The link is at the top, gang. You can join the queue and hop into the conversation. Hold on now. Hold up now.
Big Angel Reese. Big
There we
Angel
go.
Reese, you know? Yes, sir.
Reese's Pieces in the
Gotta
building. Oh,
hey.
I
Yeah.
like those. I feel like I never got a chance to try them on the store, so I was skeptical about them, but I like those.
They're nice. They're a little heavy, like compared to like your Kyries or your D Wades, or you know, what most people be wearing.
Yeah. I'm not balling in them though.
But
I'm wearing them to the
it
game.
don't matter if you're playing in a church league though. Like
That's fair too. That's fair. How you doing today?
yeah. I'm doing good, man. Doing good. How are you?
I'm fantastic. What you got for me?
I just wanted to kind of say that, like, first off, anyone who uses like the Rakai situation to place on all black people to be like, ah, there they go, they're blah blah blah. This is black culture. You just can't even engage with those people because they're being willfully ignorant. They don't want you to educate them. They don't want to be educated. They just want to spew nonsense.
I agree, like 10,000%. And generally speaking, I don't. There's a lot of times in conversations, I won't say anything, and then I'll hear pushback later on when they're like, "Why you didn't check somebody? Why you didn't say nothing?" I have nothing to say to somebody who says stuff like that. Yeah, I do.
And second off, I kind of agree that, like, if you use age as an excuse in the moment, that is kind of allowing them to not fix core issues. But again, we don't really know what's going on behind the scenes.
What's it called? What about Scott? You don't have to have the camera on. You can just have the mic. How do you feel it's like what's the difference between it being an excuse versus context?
It's a good question.
Well,
I feel like if it's context, you can be like, people, you know what I mean? People do make mistakes. People do there are mistakes I make in school. I'm writing a paper right now, right? Like, and there are things that I did in my other years in school where I'm like, but I'm learning and I'm growing and I'm able to apply those things.
yeah.
Where it becomes an excuse is if I don't learn from it and don't apply it, and I just keep repeating the same
Behavior.
mistakes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the same behaviors.
Yeah. I think that may be fair. I would have to think on that one more. Because even when I asked the question, it's not like I know the answer either. To specifically that one, I don't know. I would have to. Yeah, I'd have to think about that one.
Awesome. That's all I got for you, man. Good talking to you, though.
Yeah, please appreciate you, Clipper fan. Appreciate you. I'll talk to you later. Shout out to Big Angel Reese, man. Ugh. All right, Scott, how you doing today? Hello?
Am I on?
You are on.
I can't hear myself. Anyways, yo, Omizi,
You
if you can
can or
hear me,
can't
sorry,
hear
I'm
you?
not. How do I turn on the volume, bro? Give me a second here.
Can you hear me?
Okay, I'm just gonna talk. I can't hear you talk. I can't hear you.
Well, if you can't hear me, what's the point?
Now I can hear you.
Okay,
Say
you can hear
something
me
one more
now.
time. Sorry.
Hello.
Jesus, why can't I hear him?
Go out. I'll kick him from the thing. Hold on. Tell him to go out and come all the way back in. Go out, come all the way back in. Go all the way out, come all the way back in. And then we'll try that again. B, how you doing today?
Yo, what's good?
You're
Yo, I got a question. You're with the mom, like, kind of like, I don't know if she justified it, but like, kind of like giving him that speech, like, did them in the light shit.
Am I with his mom trying to uplift him?
Like, that's loaded. I get the uplifting thing, but you don't think there's. How do you feel about it?
What do you mean? Like she sent him a private voicemail. Now he decided to play it on.
Okay, yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah,
So
he decided to play it on stream, but she sent them a private voicemail saying like, you know, I believe in you. This, that, and the third. And she prayed for him. Like I don't really understand the question.
Nah, if it was a private voicemail, then that's different. That's something.
Yeah, it was a voicemail.
All right. Another thing. So we got he's young, right? Do you think he has like a duty to kind of like protect the people who like have to like jump out and like defend him, like you're saying, like the Clover and shit like
that? I subscribe to the concept of you are my brother. I am my brother's keeper. The things that I do are a reflection on you, and vice versa. All these different things. In content land, that does not matter though. Like I think that a big portion of this is like we're trying to subscribe content or IRL morals and values to a content lens. And it just doesn't work like that.
So let's say he did some fuck shit, right? And he would risk the whole Clover of getting like somehow if they didn't denounce him, like you said something about the fucking the curly sideburns and shit, right?
Okay.
Would it be okay? Do you think it would be cool for them to like criticize him on camera.
I don't care how they handle it. It doesn't necessarily matter to me. Like I don't have an opinion on that. It would be fine if they criticize them on camera.
Okay. All right. Fuck that. I'm about to get ignorant. I ain't gonna lie. You don't got no stance on this shit. All right. For that meal though, like I know they're rich and shit for the Mr. Beast thing. I think the Mr. Beast thing was the only time if somebody was about to swing on him for something, that was it. I ain't gonna lie. Yo, I know that Rubio nigga is rich, whatever, because he got mad fans, right? Yo, if for a meal, I would have RKO'd this little nigga. What? Yo, there's nothing that would, bro. I would have put him on his fucking neck for the meal, but that's for his fans though. But I ain't gonna lie. Ain't nothing. If you did that, bro, if you did that to anybody else for 5 bands, this some fuck shit like that, then that's not in the rules. Yeah, I'm just saying now, like, I hope somebody. I mean, yeah. Again, I don't got no stake in this shit. I don't give a fuck really, but this is entertainment. But I hope somebody. He's a young black king. You feel me? Like he is some generational. So I do hope for his health and shit. The niggas talking about they leak his social and shit. Like, so when it comes to real life shit, it stop. But
I appreciate it. I appreciate it, B. He was going crazy. I'll talk to you later. Danielle was trying to get payback on me for not going to get her pizza last night. And so she won't give me something from the gas station. The gas station is 3 minutes away. Pizza was 35 minutes away. Navi, what's up? Scott, how you doing today?
Okay, now he woke me up. Okay. There's going to be a little bit of a delay here because I'm using my girlfriend's phone to hear the conversation.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if I know you've seen some of my reaction videos and whatnot.
Maybe
my
one
main problem
and not the whole thing
is that I've always had an issue where I feel like as Black content creators, I don't know why Black content creators always have to focus on the entertainment aspect of things instead of like elevating and bringing true value. And what frustrates me, I've watched a few of your videos and I feel like a lot of the times you run defense for them, even though it's like, I feel like we can do better. I feel like we can do better, and defending them, not pointing out their flaws, kind of always holding their back is kind of unfair to the entire community.
I mean, I'll say this. I don't look at a singular entity and place them as the leader / forefront entity when it comes to the entire community. That's one. Two, I don't look at any of the streamers out there or the entertainment types of individuals as like representation for the Black community, or I don't look to them to have some sort of good takes, talk about politics, give economic advice, life advice, all these things like that. They're too big. This is not their calling, et cetera, et cetera. But what I do is, if I look for those things, there are Black creators that I subscribe to. Herbie, FD Signifier, Olay, Foreign, the Jam Podcast. All these people do everything that it seems like you're looking for.
Okay, he stopped talking. Wait, I want to have this conversation with you on a better scale. It's just right now, I don't know if you've watched my video. We're moving out of our apartment, so my whole internet setup, my whole streaming setup is not set up right now. I'm not even in my house. I'm like a hotel. So I'll ping you another day when I have everything set up so I can actually have this conversation, because I'm like playing telephone here. I just jumped on because the chat was saying I was afraid to jump on.
We're having a great conversation, I think. Right now, do we need to do this on Twitter? I promise you, we will probably never cross paths again, Scott. Genuinely speaking.
No, I don't believe that, because I react to a lot of videos that are in your community, and I react to your videos sometimes, and I'm sure you've seen my reactions before.
I have not.
Damn. Okay. Well, I'll try anyway some other time when I have my setup and everything, because I have no headset or anything. I can't. This is it's kind of hard to follow.
Okay. Let's go to Damien.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, I can hear you. It's been a while since I've been to one of these. I haven't watched the Rakai video. You're gonna need to fill me in. I wanted to like wait, like really in lifetime develop and deliver my opinion. So, what's the prompt?
Wait, go watch the video and come back.
Oh, please, man, please.
I will. You know, I'll talk to you in Discord if you have an opinion based off of what's being said.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Bye, Damien. Draco.
Yo,
So,
do you hear me?
Clap, clap. He make it clap, clap, clap. He make it. Yeah, I hear you.
Okay. I just want to say I'm a big fan of you. I've been watching you since I was in high school. I'm just gonna say that.
How tall are you?
6 foot.
Damn. Okay. Well, I am shorter than you, so
Yeah.
I just wanted to put that out there. I appreciate it.
That's tough. So I've been watching the stream and I'm like, damn, bro, no one's out actually, like discussing. I'm just like, damn, Anyways, so what's the point with the whole Rakai stuff?
I thought you watched the video too.
No, in the stream, what are we talking about?
No, just
I just want to be informed.
This is you giving your opinion on
your videos.
The video, if I was wrong somewhere, point it out. We can have conversation about that, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay. So my personal opinion, Rakai is he's a little shit. I'm gonna say that. He's annoying. But I don't agree with all the racism he, gets. Like, I do kind of find it weird that people outside the Black community and people within the Black community are like saying, oh my God, he's giving Black people a bad rep. And it's like, why are we shifting the responsibility of the representation of all Black people to a 17-year-old? Like, I get it, it's the internet, he has to be like a gentleman or have some self-respect, but like how does Rakai being like a piece of shit affect me, bro? Just because we both have the same skin color, I don't like mess with that. But I do like agree with the sentiment that he does need to learn and like mature from his ways. But at the same time, the people around him don't care that much because they see him as like a cash grab. Like, out of all the Clover boys, I'm pretty sure he's the most famous one. And like, based off that, I feel like everyone around him is kind of like using him in a way. Like, do you agree?
So the specific point being that they're using Rakai to make money, but they don't have his best interest in heart.
Yeah, that's my point.
I don't have enough information to make a judgment. Yeah, I don't have enough information to make
because me personally, Rakai reminds me of like my younger brother, just a lot more autistic in that sense, but I'm not like as like hard on him, like, bro, this guy's such a annoying piece of shit, all that like harsh stuff, because I can understand that, like, you're a young guy, you're gonna be on some like crazy shit, but at the same time, I don't like how people aren't giving him as much accountability. Like, in your video, I understand that like you want to understand where he's coming from, the first one specifically, but like I kind of disagree that you should have been like a little bit more harsh before you saw that stuff about what he said about Mari, in my opinion.
I'm pulling something else up. Harsh in tone or verbiage, or
yeah, I felt you should have been more harsh.
I'm generally speaking not a harsh person in tone or verbiage, unless it's in like a live stream format. In live streaming, I can kind of amp it up, but Even in real life, like I'm not a harsh person.
Okay.
I mean,
But oh yeah.
I was gonna say, you've consumed me for a minute now. Pause. Would you agree?
Nah, but I do feel like whenever you know someone is being a piece of shit, you're like, I gotta clock your T. You know, I do think you have that sort of like calm, but very strict energy to you as well, in my opinion.
And
But I
that's fair.
don't think that was there for Rakai as much. In the
Mm.
second video, okay, you went hard and you were like, okay, Rakai, I mess with you, but like, what are you doing? So I do agree that you can be strict at some points.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. Anything else?
Shit. I don't like how Rubio hasn't like spoke up about the racism
He
Rakai
has.
experience. He has?
Mhm.
Oh, okay. That's cool. Anyways, shout out to you. Keep making videos. I hope you reach 1 mil. You're like top 5 commentary YouTubers for me personally. So thank you. You make me a little bit more smarter than I am already. So thank you so much. Thank
There we
you.
go. I appreciate that. I do want to address one, and boy, oh boy, I hope Guardian is still in the chat. I would love for Guardian to come up. This is one that I'm so surprised has not come up yet. Guardian says, I've been a fan of the channel for some time, but you trying to say Rakai isn't malicious with the go back to Mexico comment was disgusting when I watched the vid. Very disappointed with you, mate. I'll say this. I have no problem with walking back the statement. I think that the overall sentiments that I tried to okay, there you go. I think the overall sentiment that I tried to share probably needed further context and elaboration, but I generally I can walk back that statement. It's it. Yeah. I walk back the statement. And if that's not explicit enough, it was malicious. I'm not trying to be funny. All right. Sorry, didn't notice you there. Let's keep going. Is there anybody that actually has a problem with the things that I've said, as opposed to about to add on to what's going on?
Oh my god.
How you doing, gang?
Yo, Omisi, what's up, man? Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Yes, sir. So yeah, I just wanted to ask you this first question before we get started on the debate. So you pretty much stand on that Rakai did not behave the best, but you are against the racism he's getting right now, right?
Yes.
But do you? Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm kind of nervous. But do you agree with his behavior on the video?
His who?
His behavior on the video?
No.
Okay. So I know that from your video, but one of the things I wanted to point out is that the main reason he's getting so much backlash is because obviously he is kind of controversial, but he was also exposed to like a whole community in Spanish. As you can see, like it's a whole different level of how can I say it? You know, when it comes to the Spanish community, they're not as used to as seeing this type of behavior, especially from 17 years old. So he is getting a lot of backlash because of that, and it's also becoming very popular to talk about him. Me personally, I do think he did something wrong, but I generally think like if he's just I don't know how to explain it, but it's just the backlash from the Spanish community. It's that bad because he did what he did, and I feel like he should at least come out with an apology or something like that.
I'll say this. I don't think he needs to apologize for any action that was done at the Mr. Beast games. And those were the actions that encouraged people to make racist remarks. He doesn't need to apologize about any of that. He was playing a game, he was creating content, just like everybody else was playing a game and creating content.
I mean, I get that it was $1 million on the line at the end of the day, but I'm pretty sure. I just imagine this for one reason, and I know talking about this is like it's like walking on eggshells. So I don't want to
say what you want to say.
Like I just don't want to be as unfiltered. But let's just say,
I think you'll be okay.
All right, I'm gonna try. Let's say because do you even watch like the whole stream itself?
Hell nah. You think I watch Mr. Beast streams?
Well, let's just for context, he was Ski Mask, Your Rage, Rakai, and Rubius. And whole time during the stream, what if Rubius would have been like the only, let's say the races were reversed, right? Let's say Rubius was the only black person in there, and then the other three were, either Europeans, French, whatever, right? But they were, different skin color. Do you think the backlash would be worse than what Rakai did, even if he had the same behavior as Rakai, same everything?
If they told Rubius, who is now black in this situation, to go back to New York, I don't think there would be a problem. If they told Rubius to go back to Africa with Rubius, who is black, to go back to Africa, is definitely a problem. There's so much historical context as to why that would be super duper problematic, but yes, it would be a problem.
I get that. I think he's comment about saying go back to Mexico. Like I think that's pretty. It's not even that bad. I mean, people say that on the daily, regardless of your environment, even on a funny setting or whatever. He probably didn't even mean it in a racist setting, but I'm pretty sure.
I did not remember, chat. I did not say that. Where are you from?
Me personally, I'm from Venezuela.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I think that if Rakai let's say Rakai was white and Rubius was black, and he was just like emoting on him, go home, or telling him all that stuff, I'm pretty sure even without having to make a racist comment, he would get a bunch of backlash. I'm pretty sure.
Fairs. Anything else?
Are you gonna keep talking about Rakai? Do you think it's just like a content farming topic, or?
Yes, people like using, or people like viewing content about Rakai. They love it. So,
but it's just,
and there's a great I think there's a decent conversation about this stuff. Like I really, really do. But again, people kind of are beating around the bush because they want people to say like, yo, just condemn him. Just fucking condemn him. As opposed to, okay, why is this place in space one that enables this type of behavior? I'm pretty sure I didn't watch. Well, I can check on Twitch tracker. He did not stream to his normal 17,000 people last night. I'm pretty sure he had or whatever night he addressed Mari. I'm pretty sure he saw a jump in viewership.
But like, that's the thing. That's what I mean about Rakai's content, is that he sees it. I'm pretty sure he's self-aware of everything that he does, everything that he says to his chatters, and like to his response from backlash. I think he just like keeps rage baiting people, but like, how far can he get? And is it even safe to keep on doing stuff like this?
Only time will tell. Yeah, he streamed to 2,800 people. I don't want to. Is it Luigi?
Yeah.
Anything else?
I'm not sure, man. I'm not sure what all the topics to touch around. I just don't want to get cooked in the chat, but it looks like I'm getting cooked already.
I think you're fine. I really think you're fine. Let me go to the next person. I appreciate you.
For sure. Y'all have a good one.
You too. Sorry, didn't notice you there. Silver Trees, how you doing today?
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right. So I've been a casual viewer of you, kind of more on and off, I'd say. I think for your most recent videos, it's been a little bit more engaging for me, just because with Rakai, I'm not really into his content, so I think I'm biased in that sense. But what caught my attention for your last video was like how you kind of described him as a little brother of YouTube. And I do kind of get what the person said previously when you were saying a little bit softer tone. I don't think you were as critical with him. Just kind of, with that, the little brother. I don't personally like that perspective just because it kind of almost diminishes it in a way where you're kind of attaching him to family. And I just don't see him as family. He's just kind of a stranger. So applying that to him on the internet kind of just seems like, even if he was family, that's not something I'm going to particularly tolerate. And I don't think his behavior should be kind of brushed off. I haven't watched the full stream either, but I just think I'm not into that type of behavior in the first place. And the same with Speed, like your recent video, you were talking about Speed and how he had a rough upbringing and he's doing better now. But I think even then, especially with that digital footprint, while he's doing good, I just, that's always in the back of my mind. So that's just something I kind of feel, if it makes sense.
Yeah, the only thing that I would introduce here is that like, and again, it's interpretable, but I do think that people are interpreting it differently than I probably would have. When I say that Rakai is like the quote unquote little brother of YouTube, I don't specifically mean like your little brother or everything that's encompassing when it comes to a little brother he's related to you by blood. But there are some similarities to Rakai in the, let's say, moniker of little brother that people often attribute to him. And mind you, I'm a little brother, so I'm speaking from a little brother perspective. It's a little turn of phrase, maybe a little tongue-in-cheek type thing. But like, he's young, he's annoying, he's always pestering. But at the end of the day, there's so many people who find him lovable and all these other things like that. That's all I meant when I said he's a little brother of YouTube.
I see. I understand that perspective, but I think it could also just be taken in the wrong way, where you like you said, some people find him lovable, but at least for me personally, when I watch his content, I personally just can't stand it. When he that was him who gave the roses and pretended he paid for it, but he didn't, right?
Mm-hmm.
When I think of that content, like, yeah, it could be jokes and jokes, but if that was me, I just wouldn't feel comfortable with that. That just feels like you're crossing a boundary, especially if you're a stranger. And I think the internet kind of desensitizes us to that in general, just because, we are behind a screen. And like that one person was mentioning earlier, he could be a character. I mean, I think that's a dangerous perspective because this is a real life person at the end of the day. He's not a fictional character. It's not a job he's getting paid to act like this. Well, I mean, I guess it kind of is with him being a streamer, but like he could, hurt somebody. Not saying that he is, but it's real that he could hurt somebody, and that person he's either interacting with is not a stunt double. It's a real person. So that's just what I'm thinking. And I don't know. It's just content like that. It doesn't sit right with me. And if I'm seeing like he has a really big audience, like with this Mari situation and how he called her out of his name, I don't think that's appropriate. I mean, of course, people are going to, curse at each other. It's just the internet. But I just think somebody's got to step in sooner or later. And like people are mentioning, the 17-year-old limit is not going to be, always applicable. He's going to grow up. And I just hate for him to have to grow up in the event where, he has to deal with like the police or something or some type of other authority. I just don't want to see that. And I don't think it's good for him. I think he just needs bit more positive role model, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I mean, again, I don't know what his future holds. So, will he or will he not grow up is left for us to see. I can't say. I don't know. It probably will happen. It may not.
Right. I just, like you said, we have to wait and see. I just don't want to see like more bad things happening, him racking up that digital footprint. And I think he does have potential to become like a next Speed. He can learn, but just because he learns from that, it's always going to be there. The internet is forever, and people are going to remember this, and he's probably going to grow up and say he does, mellow out. People are going to be like, oh, you're the guy that pretended to give that lady roses,
I did say this earlier. Digital footprint doesn't matter.
I personally disagree with that, just because it's just so significant, especially in this day and age. Your actions are always here. It's always present. So that's
Yeah, but
just
if the money flows with you, or even if you find places and spaces for people to give you like grace, then ultimately it's not gonna matter. Like there's so many people that have such a bad digital footprint and they still find themselves, living a day-to-day, living a good life today, like living a true good life today. And then also because we live in such a content pilled world, ultimately what you did is gonna get washed out.
I guess I can hear that, but I'm still a bit iffy on that. Like, you can be a horrible person and still be rich, and I guess live a life of luxury. But like, I mean, if people hear what you're saying, I think if I meet somebody on the corner store and they're the most awful person ever and they have money, I'm not going to be like, oh wow, what a good guy. I'm still going to look at his past, and that's how I read digital.
Yeah, but you wouldn't know his past. If you went to the gas station, you could be exchanging money with somebody who is awful, who is terrible. You could be waiting in line in front of or behind somebody who is awful or terrible. And truly speaking, like you just go about your day-to-day life.
That's true, I suppose. I get what you're saying there. I guess with my example wasn't the best just because it is a stranger. And for Rakai, I don't know him, but I know his face enough to know, like, in a sense, I've seen his history. So, at that point, I'm just seeing the bad at this point. More bad than good. So that's just the background I have versus him, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. But that's really all I had to really say. I think this was really helpful, just understanding your point a little bit better. So thank you for having me.
And thank you for coming up. I appreciate you.
Of course. You have a good one.
Bye-bye. We almost threw the whole list, chat. Newell. Nuel.
Hello.
You fall down the steps?
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hello. Previously, I've talked to you on Twitter about the Giannis situation.
Giannis?
Yeah, the Giannis situation. Yeah,
Antetokounmpo?
Yeah, the N-word situation where he had said the N-word and
Oh,
on Twitter.
Okay. I thought you was about to take this basketball. I was
Yeah,
about to
I
be
was just saying I talked to you. I was just saying I talked to you before, and I watched your content, you and your brother and Lo and stuff.
Appreciate that, Twinjamin.
And one take that I wanted to talk about when it comes to this situation, Rakai's situation, is genuinely his emotional intelligence. Is to a point, and I think it definitely includes his environment as well, because with the statement that he made to Rubius, it generally was something that him and Ray normally do all the time. So it's something where he needs to apologize, but he generally, I don't think mentally he knew the gravity of that, was saying it to somebody who's outside of this community that don't really outside his circle, because in his community, that's not going as well, but in his inner circle, and especially the misogyny towards Mari, is something that we've seen throughout all of the Clover Boys, especially their emotional intelligence or their intelligence when it comes to social situations. We've seen it exhibited on Kai's stream as well, doing the subathon. Kai was like, don't do this, don't say that. And they were saying everything that he said not to say. And it's generally something where his environment needs to change. I feel like the solution is definitely, they should have definitely told him, take a break. Do not come back right away and just take care of your family, take care, like see what's going on with the situation, try to see what's like the best like way to come back and generally work on himself, especially on how big it is. Because it's a whole other community that he's dealing with, and it's getting to a point where he's actually risking his life to a point.
You think he's risking his life? I mean, I guess because he's getting the threats. That's interesting. That's an interesting one. I mean, at some point he was gonna have to address it, and why not do it when it's trending? I don't know. Capitalism is a bitch, man. Capitalism is a bitch. They yearn for dollars and cents. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's pretty much all I had to say. That was my take on it. That basically his emotional intelligence just really adds it, and himself, like his well-being as a whole. I don't think he genuinely knows like how to really take space for himself. Even if he came back and did a stream like right away, which turned out to be way more and than it actually was supposed to be, but he should have definitely like after that, before that. He hasn't done anything since that, I don't think, but he definitely needs to take a break and take that trajectory, because that big 18 is something that's a jump to where a lot of things are definitely going to change for him. And I would say a lot of people like, especially in the Black community, they're like, why do you protect Rakai? Why do you guys that? Because we're the only people that's going to see from his lens, I would say, like our have that type of character for him, compared to other communities who just see it from the essential world stance. So I feel we should critique him when it comes to both sides of that spectrum.
I agree. Man, I think I'll say this, and this isn't necessarily about the talking point that you had, just more of a general statement. I think that there are bigger commentary and there's bigger commentary and bigger talking points in all situations. Sometimes when we reach to conversations about the Black community and its responsibility in all these conversations, especially when it's in the context of like an individual's actions who just so happens to be Black, I kind of get lost. I'm not gonna lie, I do get lost.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
But I appreciate you.
Yeah. You too.
Have a good one.
I appreciate the content lately. For real.
What Bev? Y'all know Danielle doesn't care about me. Okay. I got a baby water. All right, we're almost done. Jaden. Jaden? Streamers don't be eating on stream, and that's strange to me. They be starving. Jaden, go ahead, go.
Sorry, give me a second.
Okay. Hello?
Hello?
Yes.
You hear me?
Yeah.
Good. Okay. I like almost the same age of him, so I don't watch his content or anything in his stream, but I just don't like him. I only know him from Kai Sinek streams, like his University stream and November stream. So I used to like him a little bit. So, but when he keep going and I didn't like him, like how he driving, like that really bad, calling people ugly names, the B word, and I just really, really worry about him. Just how he doing, but I got so many things on my mind.
I
Sorry.
will say I definitely don't agree with the. Y'all remember when he was driving and texting and
Yeah,
yeah, that shit was crazy. That shit was crazy.
yeah. Like that, like only thing, like almost hurting someone or himself. Like that only like thing I can remember, like almost hurting someone. And he's not like a bad teenager. I don't like people calling him like a kid. Like I just call him a teenager, just like that. And just I don't think he a bad teenager. Like he do stupid stuff, annoying stuff, but he not like the same level with mixed mischief and like anyone else. Like really bad, terrible, worse people, and yeah.
I will
I
say
just,
I think earlier I did say something about Miskiff, and there is a point to it, but I do kind of want to pull back on it because I don't think it's fair to even bring him up in this conversation.
yeah, it's
Miskiff
kind
is
of weird.
accused of assault,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
yeah, like it's a difference. It's a big
yeah,
difference.
and I also don't. I hate the racism thing and like confusing people. Like both of them same. Like people like me just calling him out. Just he going a little bit too far. I get it. He doing it like an act, and but he need cross a line, like taking it too far. Realizing like one day he maybe I don't know, like me being almost people like try to hurt him or him doing something really really dumb, like I don't know, and he kind of I want no, I would say he kind of the same level of Nina Lynn, but she did something more worse. But I don't know where to appeal him at. Like he just annoying, and his mom, she not like a I don't know how to put it. Like she like okay, but I understand the mom thing. Like parents will do anything for their kid. Like will I understand that? Like trust them first, and yeah, I don't blame her with that one.
Yeah,
Like trusting her kid first.
yeah.
Well, teenager. Uh, I think I just want him like mature a little bit. Like
And it'll happen over time.
yeah,
You
yeah,
kinda gotta give it
we can't like know at first. Like hmm, I don't know what to say next.
I think I'll say this,
Yeah.
and then there's some other people. I'll say
Mhm.
this. I think ultimately what people don't understand is that, you know, um, he's living an escalated lifestyle in real life in front of our eyes. Um, Somebody earlier in this in the conversation said, I know like 60 Rakais. Like if I went outside, I could see 60 Rakais. The difference is that they're not online and that we don't interact with them. And I think that's a fair sentiment. And he's being judged not by the school. He's not being judged by his family members. He's being judged by millions upon millions of people on a daily/weekly basis. And I think that that's difficult and hard to do. Now, granted, was I that 16, 17-year-old? No. Did I do dumb shit at 16 and 17? Absolutely. And one day we may get to them on this stream, one day we may not. But at the end of the day, people have to learn to grow, to change, to you know, let this person's story play out a little bit more before they come to these criticisms, and their criticisms should evolve. Because I wonder, and not saying that I'm like taking down notes and all this other stuff like that. In 3 years, if Rakai does become Speed 2.0, I do wonder how these people are going to act. But they will, at that point, it'll probably be a new Rakai, and we'll move on to him, and then we'll be saying, you know, so and so just needs to be like Rakai. He needs to look to Rakai as a role model.
Yeah, thank you. Like,
no problem, no problem.
Yeah, I'm a little bit new of your content, and that's my first time doing this. But thank you. I really love your videos. Really respect you. Thank you.
Yeah, have a good one.
Yeah. Yep. You too.
Somebody said, whoa, all the comments just disappeared. Okay, there it is. And I know this is a troll. Speed wasn't this OD. No, he was. He was 15 times. Go ahead, not one of us.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
I just have a few questions, and I think I just want to pick your brain a bit. And I want to ask a question. I know we are all biased to an extent, but would you consider yourself biased when it comes to ANP and the people that are associated with ANP, in specific the Clover Boys?
I'm looking up the definition of bias. An inclination of temperament. No. Sorry, didn't notice you there. A biased opinion is one, or is a judgment or belief that favors one perspective, person, or group over others, lacking impartiality and objective evidence. It stems from personal prejudice or preconception, often resulting in a one-sided view that ignores contradictory facts. It is often described as distorted or skewed viewpoint. I might be more inclined to say no.
Why?
Am I impartial to them?
Let me just emphasize a bit, because I've watched some of your videos over the last month or so.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not trying to criticize you, because you're a creator and you have your own opinion. And you're entitled to it.
Criticism is not a bad thing.
For example, the phase situation, you were very inclined to stick to the side of the boys instead of trying to consider FaZe Banks' side to an extent. Over the years, you have shown to be a bit more opposed to Aiden or Neon, for example. Not that I'm a fan of any of the people I just mentioned, but in these commentaries that you did, it was more evident to see that you can pick a side and stick with it and criticize people for that, for choices they make, for example, or for decisions they have made over countless periods of times. But I've noticed, and I think I'm not the only one, that when it comes to AMP, you tend to be more graceful with them. This could be because you know some of them, which is fair, right? I think we are all biased. That's why I started by saying I think we are all biased to an extent.
I want to interrupt you real quick.
Okay.
I just want to introduce this. Is bias a one-way street?
What do you mean by that?
So like the concept is that, you know, for AMP, and I'm gonna make some generalities and just because I've heard this talking point before. So just if I'm wrong, stop me. If I'm right, you know, let me rock.
Mhm.
When situations happen with AMP and Omar covers them, he is very much on the side of giving them any sort of grace or believing in their side and not going as hard on them, et cetera, et cetera. But then when we talk about Aiden Ross or FaZe Banks, Omar is more inclined to go harder on them, you know, not give them grace. I know, right? She put a bunch of noodles in here. I can't criticize Daniel. When Omar talks about FaZe Banks or Neon or Aiden, he is not inclined to give them grace. He goes hard on them. And you know, he criticizes them to the utmost extent, right? Is that the general sentiment there?
I wouldn't say it's a general sentiment, it's just an observation.
Or well, is
Um,
that the observation, I should say then?
yes.
So then my question would be, is bias not a two-way street? Like bias, because every time it's presented, it's presented in a way of like, okay, you're only biased in a negative connotation, meaning that you let AMP and the collective slide on these things. But if I'm not also then seeing different perspective or giving some sort of impartial take on like an Aiden or a Banks, wouldn't that also be considered bias?
Yeah.
So then how I do, just as a general sentiment, we go back into the conversation. I only get the biased conversations and comments specifically when it comes to this. I wonder why.
I think because it's more obvious. Let me emphasize. For example, I think over the past months or even years, we have seen Rakai behave in a certain manner and has repeatedly done it over and over again. And today you have tried to justify it with his 17 years. Some people in the chat have done the same.
We kind of went over the definition of justification and context. What do you
Fair.
think the difference is between justification and context?
It's trying to, well, I mean, do you want me to define what justification means, or what do you mean by that?
What is justification?
I would use a synonym for that. That is trying to find a valid reason to excuse a certain behavior or action. But by doing so, sometimes we leave out the simple facts of looking at the other side.
Fair.
Meaning, yes, you can justify that he's yet still a bit immature based on his age, but at the same time, factually, if he committed a crime, he will be held accountable based on his actions, for example.
Well, I don't want to get lost.
So,
I don't want to get lost too much in the weeds.
Okay.
What action of Rakai's did I justify?
I mean, you just said we should give him grace. You just said he could turn out to be the next Speed. But what you fail to emphasize on is that Speed, whether he did it publicly or private, he had to sit down with himself, look himself in the mirror, and come to a conclusion that his behavior wouldn't prolong his career. So he had to do a 180 to become the Speed that we all know now, and the majority of the people in the whole globe love him now, right? He's no longer the guy that was doing the extreme things more than even Rakai to an extent, but there had to be a point where he had to come to realization.
Even with that being said, though, because we're the leash is a little, it's running away from me. At what point do you think that Speed had that conversation with himself?
I don't know. I'm not in his life, but one thing we know is that he had that talk because we saw the change with Rakai. And I think that is one thing a lot of people haven't spoken about. And I'm not trying to put the blame on his environment, but he has resources that an average streamer, for example, doesn't have, other than maybe the Capaholics with DDG. But Rakai has the unique ability that at any moment he can go to a guy like a Duke Dennis, who is more matured, not just based on his age, but also based on what he has presented online. He can go to a guy like Agent. He can also go to a guy that has been very successful like Kai, who has changed again and has tried to show the world another side of himself, a more mature side of himself. So all these avenues are given and open for him. Yet, what we can speak about is what we see. And what we see is what we just saw with him concerning Mari and every other thing that happened, right? So at some point, we have to look at that side also. And I'm not blaming them, meaning Kai and all the rest of them. But if a person has all the tools in his backyard and doesn't use them and comes public and acts a certain way, can we then put the blame on, oh, he's still immature? Can we put it on his age? Or do we have to then believe what we are seeing?
So then,
and criticize him based on that to an extent, which is fair, I believe.
So, and this is the person, we can't forgive a person before they change. Shout out to Andrew, because I did comment to his thing, and I think that we're on the same path. That's why I brought this up, and I want to address them at the same time. We can't forgive a person before they change, only after. That's why it's justification and not context. At no point did I condone, validate, forgive, uplift, appreciate, or any of those things that he did on that stream. I said that it was wrong that he called Mari a bitch. I said that it was wrong that he called Mari ugly. I said that it was wrong that he stole the flower and tried to give it to somebody else. I said that it was wrong that he took the drove the car and was texting and driving. I'm trying to think about the other thing like that. I said that it was wrong that he what did he do with the one streamer? He lied to the streamer about paying the money, and then like they made a bet or whatever the case may be, and then he lied about the money and all that other stuff. I said that stuff was wrong. I said that the back and forth with Ray, where he was making fun of him for being Taiwanese, was wrong. I said all these things were wrong. At all these moments, I said that he was wrong.
Yeah.
The only thing that came after that was I offered the context that he's 17, he's immature, and he thinks that this is the way to go about making content. I follow all these sentiments with, but that is not justification for any of the actions. So, and if we go back to the conversation about bias just a little bit, I'm trying to understand how in that statement, because it's a pretty it's a statement that I've used over and over again to maybe talk about whoever else or whatever the case may be. In what word is that a display of the biased nature of a certain group versus another group?
Would you think you would have found a reason to give Aiden Ross a cop out if he had done something similar to what Rakai did? Meaning you would have said maybe, okay, Aiden is wrong in this and this and this reason, but he's white and doesn't know black culture or something like that. Because based on what I've seen from you, it's always, this is wrong from Aiden, this is wrong from FaZe, Banks, for example, this is wrong from Neon, but there's never this emphasizing but like it is with Rakai.
I did the same thing.
All know
I did the same thing for Neon. I did the same thing for Neon in my original Breakfast Club video. So I did the same thing for Neon.
Okay.
And talked about his age when he did make those sentiments and the path that he is on now. I think it was the situation where Aiden and Kai had the fallout, and I extended the context about, because it was specifically, I'll say this, there was conversation about Aiden Ross being racist, specifically that he says these slurs on between people or whatever the case may be. And then he kind of clapped back and was like people don't have these problems in real life or whatever the case may be. The context that I added was the reason why Aiden Ross thinks that these things are okay is because in people's faces, when he does say these things, nobody gives him pushback. They even probably have given him, quote unquote, said N-word pass, have let this person, that person, the third person say it. So yes, naturally he would think that it's okay to say it. Now, I don't agree with the white person, Aiden Ross, saying it, but that's probably why he thinks these things. I do add context to most of these situations. In the same situation with FaZe Banks, it may be a smaller point in the conversation, but yeah, I brought up the point that, yeah, at the end of the day, FaZe Banks was running a business, right? And at some point, it wasn't going to be always give to the guys. At some point, they were going to be looking to recoup. Now, that does not mean that it was okay to be disingenuous with the way that he was going to go about getting it back. But at the end of the day, he was still going to need to get it back. Everything in life isn't free. Is that bias?
When you eagerly emphasize on one side more than the other, it looks kind of biased.
Well, what do you feel?
Yeah. And again, this is not to criticize you again, but I think the underlying factor about, to bring it back to Rakai's case, is that we have seen, I think, enough sample sizes of the bad side of Rakai, in as much as one of his mentors or the person that encountered him has faith in him becoming one of the biggest content creators ever. But I think at some point we have to do better in terms of, yeah, I know you you looked at the definition of the holding people accountable, but at least looking at people's actions and naming them as such. I mean, we did it to Kanye West even recently, and I think that is part of the community and part of human nature to look at actions and deem them as such, and whatever that such is would cause the person who did those actions to have the ability or the moment to at least sit down with himself and come to a conclusion for himself, whether good or bad. That remains for the person to decide. But to me, it is a bit strange when Rakai makes, for example, the voice note of his mother public, even though it is a private message, and in it looks as if she's condoning what he's doing, right? If he never made it public, we would never known, and based off that, people would have a certain picture of her mother, of his mother. It might be wrong, but if all we have now is son, they want to dim your light. I mean, that looks as if the mother is trying to condone the bad actions he's doing from an outsider looking in, and that is the perspective we have. We don't have the backstage scenario or whatever goes on behind the scenes for us to have the full picture. And because we don't have the full picture, and perspective is what perspective is, we can only look at a thing or look at an issue based on what we see and what has been made public to us. It is wrong for people to threaten them, without a doubt. But at the same time, I think Rakai is in the unique situation again to have a lot of experienced content creators at his avenue where he can pick their brains, know what to make public, what not to make public. And even if he's heated, I think he has made one or two mistakes for him to, by now at least, know that, okay, let me not call a female another B word because I've already done that before and I've seen the consequences thereof. So at that particular point, the age issue or the age argument leaves the room because then it becomes a repetitive mistake. And I think at 617, a normal 17-year-old that is right in his mind can know that this thing I'm about to say, I've said it in the past before, not that long ago, and it ended me in a bad place. So why am I going to repeat that again? And I think even voicing these things out, you did to an extent. I'm not criticizing that you didn't do it. You did it to an extent. But I think at some point, it could be a bit more louder without the but. He's 17. Because in this particular case, I don't think the 17 is even needed in this case.
But see, and I think that that's where a lot of, and I'm not saying this to say that like, F everything that you just said. I hear everything that you just said. I think that that's where a lot of the criticism, even in the conversation of like, you are biased in this regard, et cetera, comes from, is that there's a certain way in which people would prefer me to shape a conversation or say a certain thing. That's fine. I'm a commentator, so I don't have anything against that. And maybe you would do it in this direction. But does that make the way that I did it invalid? I
No.
think is the question that's where I'm really coming from in this talking point, or to combat this
Mhm.
specific thing. It's
All-
it's not an overtly awful thing to give the context that he is 17, especially if it's a point within the overall conversation of, hey, I don't condone this. This is a bad behavior. The system that he's in does condone this. We should be talking about this as well. He should be getting criticism for this said thing. He should not be doing this. And within that, the context of, well, he is 17. This is a way that people talk. I don't talk like this. I don't like this or justify this. And he is interacting with his chat when he does do these things. Because if you notice, he did hesitate. Did you see that? I think that that's a portion of the conversation, again, because I've been trying to, not specifically with you or not even specifically tonight. That's something that I did want to get into at some point, though, is that the hesitation and looking at the chat let me know that he's looking for validation in a crash out. No different than when Neon went to the Breakfast Club and he was kind of hesitant at a certain point and went to look at his chat for some sort of validation in order to continue on. Right. I even somebody right here, air fruit fly, says hesitation shows that he knew better. I think that he knew better. And I think that he understood that he was about to go and say something wrong. But I think that, hey, I'm about to get a lot of I'm about to clip farm right here. This clip is going to go viral, et cetera, et cetera. If I do this thing, pushed him into doing this. I'm saying this to say, like, I hope it doesn't come off as I'm not using him being 17 as an excuse or justification for him to say the things that he said. Set the age that he is with the context in the age that he is just context to this full story.
Okay. The thing is just that, and I get your point. I understand to an extent. But I think it's a generalization to say that every 17-year-old acts like Rakai also, because not every 17-year-old has seen the level of fame, seen the amount of money, or has been with the amount of people that have been in the public eye like Rakai has.
But I think I think you could even agree that most 17-year-olds are impulsive.
Yes.
And so
but that doesn't mean they all call women the B word, and that makes it a reason to highlight their age based on that. That's what I'm saying.
They probably do other things. And again, not to just, they probably do other things and we don't see them because we're not in every 17-year-old's life. But the general concept is 17-year-old impulsive. 17-year-olds are generally impulsive. Those without frontal lobe development are generally speaking impulsive and overreactionary to certain sentiments. I think that him being on stream heightens it. But he's 17, he's impulsive.
Fair. Yes. Yeah, but I think to make it short, I don't want to hijack your
I think out of everybody, not everybody, but out of most people, you're giving good pushback, you're getting good reception from the chat. We're having good conversation. As if we did a poll right now, you're winning. This is what I would rather have in these conversations, as opposed to everybody coming up and saying, yo, we one. And then two, I definitely did at some point want to unpack the whole conversation about unbiasedness. But I do think that is, not saying for you to agree or disagree, but I do think oftentimes when people say that I am unbiased, it's because simply I didn't frame it or I am biased. It's because I didn't frame it or phrase it in a way that they would. One, two, they act as if humans aren't biased in general. But ultimately they want me to say something in a certain fashion or speak on a specific topic that they would want to be spoken on, or they would want me to crash out on, and sometimes it's not like that. It's not that deep.
Not necessarily. I don't think I wanted to speak in a certain way, but as a commentary channel that you have, I think sometimes looking at it from both sides sometimes would even solve that bias discussion to an
I
extent.
play devil's advocate when I do that.
Oh, okay. Okay, then. Well.
And again, this isn't. I'm not asking you, not one of us, to solve every single problem.
Sure.
That is like, I'm not going to be able to satisfy everybody. Like, it is what it is. But ultimately, like, these are the plights of trying to appease the people, especially when people, when we talk about these specific types of moments, because for whatever reason, people get heightened feelings about this. But when I do like a AI fruit slop video, people don't get this heightened emotion, if that makes sense.
Well, yeah. Again, I think a whole lot of things came together for Rakai in this case. That was just wrong timing, wrong wording. The Mexico issue wasn't really the best thing to do. Go to Mexico when ICE is a big topic still. So obviously you trigger a lot of people with that statement by itself. And you not being in the best light doesn't make it better. So yeah, but again, he has the arsenal right next to him, I would say. So it's not like he can't do better, and I hope he does better. And I think the underlying factor is that we all want him to do better if we are not hateful, and I don't think we are. But at some point, it has to happen because it just doesn't apply to him. But I think the whole of Clover Boys, which are looking or doesn't have the best PR right now. So yeah, a change would be nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Even yeah, there's a lot to say there too, but I don't want to belabor the point. I don't generally speaking disagree with it. No. I appreciate you.
Yeah. Thanks. Have a nice day.
You too. I do want to say this is for Air Fruit Fly again. Would you say that you are more biased towards Rakai because he's a young black man and can understand the plight young black men or the light young black men are? No, that didn't even cross my mind. No, I would. I really don't care. I don't. Let me read these two super chats. Breaking news. This is from Droopy.
He's on fire.
Says, Omar. Breaking news, Omar. WNBA is having 3 new teams in Cleveland, Detroit, and Philadelphia. Thoughts and how's your day going? My day is going great. I absolutely hate expansion. Expansion is the worst thing to happen in the world. Expansion waters down a product. It's terrible. And this many expansion teams, 6 in 6 years is disgusting fucking work. Shouts out to Jew Almighty.
He's on fire.
Says, bro got an endless bowl of noodles and broccoli. LOL, sub fam. What's going on, Jew? That I'll tell you this: if you're seeking partnership from anybody, that should be a part of the question. How do you handle noodle to sauce ratio? Do you go sauce first, then noodle? Do you go noodles first, then sauce? DH, how you doing today?
I'm actually having a very wonderful day. Like
great,
it's been very, very, very good. And I presume that you were taking a more favorable Rakai stance.
That's what they said. But if you go back in the video, I condemn and you know.
No, I haven't watched your video, and I actually want to tell you why. And here's my thing with the whole Rakai thing. I honestly think people it's turning into mob mentality. And we know that I've made my Rakai videos my fair share, but I think at this point, niggas just kind of want money a little bit. And we can critique Rakai all we want, but this is a child, and niggas are starting to run a hate campaign. It's starting to be like a hate campaign. I can endlessly critique him, but this is a kid, bruh. This is less about people's original thoughts and more like these are external frequencies and people feeling more influenced by what's hot. It's easy to hate Rakai. It's easy to do this. It's too easy to hate on this kid. I'm not saying that we have to let him be okay, or we have to just be complicit in his actions, because like I said, I made my videos on him. But I just feel like I can't in good conscience keep engaging with content tearing down a kid that is clearly like playing into it as well. This started with a Mr. Beast video. Niggas want me to make my Rakai video about something that started as him being a villain in the Coco Melon of YouTube. Mr. Beast is the Coco Melon of YouTube. This started in a Mr. Beast video and dragged to like him saying something about Mari. He called her the B word. And my opinion on that is that it's low. It just comes across to me as like some jit stuff. Like that's just a child. I'm not saying that's okay, because I wouldn't speak to a woman like that, but it's being blown out of proportion because, like I said, people are jumping on a mob mentality. So I just think that we should stop engaging with it to the extent we are, because now it's starting to feel like a waste of energy and starting to feel redundant. And I've seen people compare him to Speed, and in a way I do agree. What if behind the scenes he's only just turning it up for the camera, and by the time he's Speed's age, he's chill? And I'm saying this as a dude that doesn't even like Rakai. You feel me?
That's a take. That's it.
And I don't mean to cut you off, Omar.
No.
And I don't even mean to like soft promote, but I am working on a video where I actually want to talk more about how we're turning into a mob mentality. Like the things we critique about streamers, I'm seeing it within the commentary space. That's why I really don't talk about streamers. I've been trying to talk about more open things, because we have to stop with this mob mentality. We have to be more open to expressing our own thoughts. I'm starting to feel like niggas are having thoughts that aren't local to their brains. I'm not saying niggas have to agree, but let's just be more open to nuance. Let's be more open to expressing our own ideas, and let's be more aware on when things are let's be more aware when our actions are being affected by things that exist outside of us.
I'll grant you this. I do feel that way about commentary YouTube in general, that a great deal of these topics are let's just say quote unquote, and this is specifically from the conversation of the creator, like they don't introduce nuance, but they also it is a little bit of a mob mentality. They do shape their perspectives based off others, but it is in the context of, I know if I make this video about this person speaking this way, then I will get 100K views. But I will, if I introduce nuance, try to play the middle a little bit, try to bring in some logic or reasoning or different perspective, my video will flop.
I get what you mean. I really love that you brought that point up, because I was just having a conversation with a friend about that. Well, I don't want to speak generally, because I can't speak for everybody, but at times it feels like these algorithms reward you when you're basically you're like gluing an opinion on someone, and that's just not okay. And I feel like that's a scary precedent to set in an age where critical thinking is a must.
But what's
it's scary
interesting,
stuff.
Let me say this too. What's interesting though is like, if you go on some of these other commentary channels, you'll see that they've like drama farmed the hell out of a weak situation, like a really weak as water situation. There's one creator, I can't remember his name, but every week and a half, not even every week and a half, every week, legitimately, he has made a video about Pokemon's falling off. Pokemon is this villain, Pokemon is this, that, and the third and fourth. And if you click it, it's an 8-minute video about,
I know what you mean.
Yeah, Pokemon saying, "Oh, I wish things could go back to the old days." And so then the commentary is, well, what do you think? In the old days, you were this, that, and another, and he goes off on her. He does that every single week. That same viewer who views that also views 5 other Pokemon videos in the same week of people criticizing and chastising Pokemon. And then what's interesting is if somebody does give a different perspective on something, then their video will legitimately flop. If I today made a video, because it's kind of been bubbling, but it's like a low simmer about the streaming 9 to 5 conversation. If I made a video saying, you know what, let's investigate, is streaming harder than 9 to 5? with any ounce of let me introduce some nuance or let me introduce a different POV, it would get smashed. But if I made a video saying, yo, these streamers are entitled, these streamers are stupid, idiotic for the 90th time,
People will eat that up like dog food. And we can push back against that. And honestly, I feel like
WestJet. It is WestJet. Somebody, yeah. Is it WestJet?
No, I see YouTubers like that too, and I try not to like talk bad about them or think bad about them, but low key, yeah, niggas will recycle the same thing over and over, and that repetition, I don't see how that doesn't distort their brain.
I don't think it's bad. Inherently speaking, I don't think it's bad because at the end of the day, for 99% of YouTubers, this is a job. This is that's what gets views. I'm not mad at McDonald's for selling a hamburger or Chick-fil-A for selling a chicken sandwich. Like I'm really not, because somebody needs a chicken sandwich and somebody wants a McDonald's.
So you saying the
cheeseburger.
slop for someone? The niggas who want the slop gonna eat the slop?
Yeah, like and niggas can say it's slop all day, but at the end of the day, WestJet make more money than me.
No, hey, I ain't gonna lie, wallahi.
So I'm not inherently mad at it for real. I'm really not mad at it at all.
No, that's real.
But it as a viewer, I think, and that's what you're speaking to as well.
No,
as a viewer, you kind of got to see what's going on in the space.
Because I feel connected with my audience, I feel. And that's really why I speak like this, because I do agree with that sentiment. You can't hate the game, not the player. These are niggas just playing a video game at the end of the day. They trying to infinite money farm.
These points at this point.
Facts. So you
wait, real quick. Y'all are about to do this in the chat. I want you to know every single commentary YouTuber.
They get messy. Them boys get messy.
Is doing the exact same thing. And when I have meetings with the people that work for me, I tell them the exact same thing. I'm not gonna lie, gang. If you struggling to come up with a video, go see what Nina Lynn is doing.
Are you serious?
Yeah, because at some point, like I would love to talk about different things. Earlier this week on the podcast, I had a take about breakfast meats. I think breakfast meat is the stupidest thing in the world, right? Breakfast meat is an insane thing. I know I can't make a commentary video about that. Hell, I low-key knew I would get fried for this commentary video.
I ain't gonna lie. No, that's a restrictive mindset, because I was thinking the same thing, but you just gotta do it. Honestly, I want to get more unhinged because I'm a spiritual nigga. I really been low-key sanitizing it because I write my videos, but I want to be more unhinged because that's just that you're expressing yourself. I know it's a business, but I think you always got the fallback on the Nina Lynn, like you said.
Yeah, you play an algorithmic game. Like I'll throw out a video where I do want to address something, the AI fruit slop video. I believed in that video so hard because it wasn't just about this.
No, that was a good video. I watched that. That was a surprising thing.
And I'll say this, it bombed. That video flat out bombed. Matter of fact, I'll pull up the analytics right now. That video flat out bombed. I want to say when it first started out, it was like a 8 out of 10 or something. It was some outrageous. No, it might have been a 9 or a 10. I was on a little bit of a stretch where shit was like a 9 or a 10 or whatever the case may be. I put that video out on March 31st. I'm gonna show y'all what the graph looks like. You're gonna see money. It's not a lot of money. Trust me. I can show this. So I put that video out. Look at this chart. This shit is a bomber. This shit is a flopper. And then for whatever reason, this bitch takes
just flew.
It takes off. So you'll have some of these, and I'm excited about these. Like, these are fine. In the last 48 hours, it's got 200K views. So really, in this span of time, it had like 47K or whatever the case may be. But it took off, and you can dabble those in there. But for the most part, people want reheated nachos. People do.
That's real. Kind of crazy though.
Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but McDonald's sell 1 million burgers or 1 billion cheeseburgers every single year. I actually don't think it's crazy. The same tropes work all the time. Guess who's coming to dinner? Whatever other recycled movie trope. I'm pregnant, but it's not yours. All these things.
So it's just a microcosm for the world then, because even that's fashion too.
Yeah.
Niggas do old fashioned trends. That's real.
So as you build up, at least for my POV, as I build up more of a fan base, more of an audience, more people who trust me and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Then I can have these moments where we're 3 hours deep into the stream. We had a consistent plus 200, really in that 215, 230 range consistently. And then I can get off my take on breakfast meats. Then I can get off my take about celebrity worship 2.0, where it's getting more dangerous, or a Sky Jackson video. And yeah, maybe those will flop, but today's flop and a year ago's flop are two different flops.
Motivating words, man. Well, I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna let you get back to it. I did just want to chat a little bit. Thank you for having me up here.
Yeah, no problem, DH. I'll talk to you later. I felt the same way about the J Cinco and Yana shit. No cap. That J Cinco and Yana thing. When I made that video, I was like, damn, I am criticizing the fuck out of how he did his baby shower and his proposal, but I do not give a fuck. Because I'm about to spin the block with a Nina Lynn video next week. And niggas gone. But I could do the drama. I promise you, not to be that guy, like, because these are my true thoughts and opinions on a good portion of this stuff. But I could come on here and I could have made a video and been like, Rakai is evil as fuck. He needs to be served. He needs to be blah, 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 blah. I could have did that. And that video, even though the video is a 4 out of 10, that video would have been a 1 out of 10. I could have put that bitch, the worst streamer on the net. That bitch could have been a 1 out of 10. It would have been the same video y'all watched from 3 other streamers or 3 other commentary channels, and my pockets would have been fat. I think sometimes that's lazy. Go ahead, Scuba. Oh shit. Vin, how you doing today?
Yo, sorry about that. I'm doing good. Is my audio coming through all right?
Yeah, you're good.
All right, cool. First off, I just want to say thank you for bringing me up here. But second, I think I've got. Everyone thinks this, but I think I've got a unique take on the situation as somebody who is Hispanic, but is also someone who's kind of, I don't want to say defended Rakai in the past, because he's never been like anything that I've really considered like important enough to defend him. But I've always been one of those people that is like, man, this is purely because he's like because he's black. If it was like Jack Doherty's, he didn't get nearly as much hate, doing way worse shit. There's still people who support him. So there's always been an aspect of this that in my mind has been like undeniably based in the subtle racism that's like allowed on internet streaming spaces and stuff. But I think that's kind of why I was a little disappointed by the stuff that came out in the stream games. Um, I don't think that Rakai is racist. I wanna start off just by saying that outright, right? But like the saying "go back to Mexico" thing really just kind of rubbed me the wrong way, because even if he's not racist, he's parroting something that is like a racist dog whistle. That is like something that's been used a lot on like any person that speaks any sort of Spanish. You know what I mean? Puerto Rican, Cuban, Argentinian, it doesn't really matter. Like to everyone, they are Mexican, you know?
Yeah.
And so I think you're that's what I like about your video. It is towing the line of obviously going up against a lot of these racist narratives that have been getting so much worse, but also not necessarily letting him get off the hook for still saying some shit that isn't it's fucked up, you know what I mean? Um I don't know. I think there's a lot of nuance to the situation. I appreciate how much you managed to fit into these 15-minute videos.
Yeah. And I do want to add to that when he did say that, and my response to that, because I said in the video, and maybe should have put a little bit more context to it, but also my audience isn't there yet where I can just say something as explicit as that's racist. I've done stuff like that before where I've been like, yo, that's racist. And then they've been like, how come he always brings race into this? And I'm like, well, it was racist. What I was saying was that like yeah, what Rakai said in the whole go back to Mexico thing is wrong, but I think that that's like his Americanism coming out. Now,
Mm-hmm.
with that being said, and I can say it in the stream, America is racist.
Facts.
I don't know. Him only knowing that like somebody who speaks Spanish is somebody who is Mexican is like the most American thing. And again, American is racist. And for him, and I know he doesn't know the complexity. I'm a little bit mature, I'm a little bit older, I'm a little bit more experienced in this to know that there is like a great divide that may be based in like some nationality differences, maybe some pride, maybe some like hatred towards other nations, that make it important to make that distinction. At the end of the day, though, like he said that because America has taught him to be racist, just like all Asian people are Chinese, all Middle Eastern people are like Pakistani or Iranian.
Whoever we're at war with.
Yeah, whoever we're at war with. All African people are really African, but they're Nigerian at best. I don't know. There's so many other examples, but yeah, man, she's a racist, gang.
Yeah, facts. And I think another part of the context for me, at least, that makes it, I don't know, it gets to a level too where like, if it was anybody else, it wouldn't be as like, it wouldn't be a big deal to as many people as it is. But because he's black, it is easier for a lot of people to be like people who like anime profile pictures on Twitter who don't say a fucking thing, who are typically the people who are the most likely to be like, oh, that's woke, that's shit, that's blah blah blah, are now suddenly race like uh race people who are like people who like see race as like a good thing. You know what I mean? Oh, how dare he say this about this Spanish guy? Um, and it's like that's the shit that really pisses me off because I think it's a competition at the end of the day. You know what I mean? He's young. He's in this moment. He's making content. That's another important thing. A lot of these streamers are so content brained that they'll just say whatever will get good reaction on stream. You know what I mean? And like it or not, this goes back to what you were saying a little earlier with the previous guest. Uh, he's one of the top streamers in the game. He has people coming back to watch him more and more. I think in a lot of ways, Rakai is a great heel on the internet. To use wrestling terminology, I think he's a great like antagonistic force to rally behind. I just think that with time, you know, when he gets older, he's going to get more. He's going to cool down, say less crazy off the cuff things, and I think that's when I'm personally really excited to see who he becomes later on in his career because I think he is entertaining as hell.
Yeah, most heels don't stay heels.
Yep, facts.
So, Ben, I appreciate you.
Hey man, thanks for having me.
All right, have a good one.
You too.
I got two more. If we had to say who won for the day, Ben and the gentleman that was questioning my bias in these conversations. I don't know. Quick jumping. How you doing today?
I'm good. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right, cool. I don't know. Honestly, it's just I think most points have been covered. I think I just wanted to kind of like, I think with your channel specifically, like a lot of the backlash, especially in the comment section, I think it's one of those situations, right? Like we're talking about framing and context, and like what you're saying is technically like what you're saying is true, right? You can give framing and you're not necessarily you can give context and you're not necessarily justifying what Rakai is doing. But I think people are just so fed up with his bullshit, right? Yeah. That like even the fact that you're giving that context is like a trigger, right? Because people don't even want Rakai or anyone like Rakai or anyone who's justifying those actions to use any of those contextual elements to like I don't know how to explain it, to persuade themselves or other people or justify those actions. So it's not necessarily like what you said that is necessarily untrue, because you mentioned the sexism, the misogyny, you've talked about all the different things, but it's just, it matters because how do I put it? Like if, for example, if two people commit the same offense, but one person gets more context than the other, then it will come across as bias, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's what people are touching on. Now, I don't necessarily think that that's something that you can like control. You can't like calculate, I'm going to have more context for AMP, more context for Rakai, less context for Aiden Ross. Like, I don't think you can like mathematically calculate how much you're doing that. But I think it does come across as giving too much context for Rakai as opposed to, I suppose, other streamers in situations that you may I guess disagree with more or have less grace for, like people were saying. So I just wanted to say, like, I don't think it's necessarily like a morality thing, and I think large parts of this conversation is just like a framing debate, and which way to frame the conversation around Rakai is better or worse. That is how I personally see it, and I think a lot of people are definitely overreacting to what you are saying, but I think it's because they're just tired of excuses, basically, for this kid.
And I think that that's a fair sentiment. And maybe one day, as I build bigger and better relationships with some of these people, then the conversations will be like different. Maybe I don't call them out at all. There's like so many maybes in that conversation. But as of today, I have like my lived experience. So, you know, I guess I can only extend the olive branch of like, yeah, sometimes I'm gonna say that Agent isn't like this because I've in real life hung out with Agent, as opposed to if, I don't know, Silly Sam did something, I would have the criticism for Silly Sam because, you know, I don't know Silly Sam, and I have no like grace for that.
Yeah, I mean, but anyways, I just want to jump in and say that like what you're doing is great, man. Keep it up, and I'll tune in for your next video. Take care, man.
I appreciate it. Have a good one. Surprisingly, that's the last one. I do want to. Dang, there's a video that I'm trying to find that hold on. I need to find this. Hopefully, he's still up. Yo, where's that one video? I'm still live. Where's that one video that I put in the chat the other day where the woman was like, streaming with these guys is not good for you, and why do these women stream with clavicular? Oh, I got it. Never mind. All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye. Okay, there's one more person backstage, and then I want to preview a video with y'all. Dreadhead 9K, how you doing?
Yeah, what's up, Mees? How you doing, man?
I'm fantastic, man.
All right, so about the Rakai shit, bro. I'm not gonna lie. My bad, bro. I'm trying to think about this shit. Hold on. I feel like this shit could have been honestly, what's it called? It didn't have to happen this way. If a lot of people in his circle, like would talk to this nigga. Cause the thing is, he's 17, sure. But that is an excuse what the fuck he's doing. I can't lie to you. I can't stand when niggas try to say, oh, he's only 17, bro. He's only 17, bro. Give him a break. No, nigga, he's almost 18. You shouldn't be acting like a 3-year-old at 17, bro. Unless he may or may not be on the spectrum. I don't know. You feel me? I don't know.
I hate that we do that. I hate that we do that. Throw out any notion of
exactly. I don't want to like make that the main point, but I'm saying like it could be. I don't know.
That's almost giving him an excuse too.
A little bit. Yeah.
That people on the spectrum don't know right from wrong. Like,
true. I don't know, man. God damn it, bro. A lot of my points are already said by other people. That's my bad.
No,
I should have joined a little earlier.
it's good.
I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna just try again later, bro. My bad.
That's perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine. Have a good one.
All right, you too, bro.
All right. This is another one. Guardian. Guardian might win the day as well. Might be in the conversation of winning the day. Guardian, how you doing?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, hold on. I'm getting feedback. Let me just mute this real quick. Sorry about that. Okay. Everything all right now? You still hear me or bad
I can hear
quality?
you. I can hear you. The quality is but I can hear you.
Okay. Just a little, I might be a little raspy right now. I'm fortunately a little sick, so apologies if I have to mute just to take care of anything. But yeah, so I did see that you, I guess earlier in the stream, you did highlight my comment about being disappointed with your Go Back to Mexico comment. And I do have some things to say about that, which I definitely wanted to bring up because I feel like it is an important conversation that I feel is often disregarded in these spaces.
Okay.
Okay. So first things first, I did mention, you know, I'm a big fan of your channel, and I did mention that, you know, I've been watching your videos for at least a couple months now. And there was only one other time where I definitely disagreed with you, and I think that was the video with the, I think the teacher and the Hello Kitty pop issue. But anyhow, so when talking about this Go Back to Mexico comment, a lot of people, or what I have seen, is that there is this distinction where people are forgetting the concepts of relationships in this issue, right? So obviously, this Spanish Norwegian streamer, I just looked it up. I actually don't know who this guy was before, but he's like in his 30s, right? He's older than Rakai, and Rakai, he's 17. So I understand that, yes, he is a child. However, we can't always be justifying his behavior, or at least giving excuses per se. So what I mean by this is, like, I have seen, like, in your past videos, I definitely see you have a soft spot for AMP, considering you have history with them, you have worked with them in the past, so I get that. And I think that's cool as, like, your little background. But to an extent, I also see that you constantly give them the benefit of the doubt in certain situations. So when talking about the Rakai situation, especially with the Go Back to Mexico comment, what a lot of people don't really talk about is that, oh, I guess for a background, I am half black and half Hispanic, so that's why I kind of care a little bit about this topic for here.
And to be and just to add a little bit more context there, I have no relation with Rakai.
No, I understand that, of course. Yeah. What I'm saying is, like, I have noticed in your past videos that you have kind of given the benefit of the doubt when defending it, anything anti related, even including the Clover Boys. I have noticed you have given them the benefit of the doubt. That's just something I personally have noticed, but I'm not trying to say anything.
Go ahead.
You know, yeah. So when I talk about the relationship in this situation, Rakai, as far as I know, I'm not big with the streaming, and that's why I watch, you know, their content to kind of be up to date with all this, you know, drama. Rakai and this Rubius guy, they have never met before, right? And I hope, again, if I'm wrong about anything, please correct me.
For sure.
They have not met before. And I have noticed that with all these big clips or all these, you know, that I've been seeing for the past couple of months, depending on the relationship dynamics, it just doesn't make sense to me why he would say this to somebody who's essentially a stranger to him. So what I mean by this, right? Obviously, people have relationships with their friends, family, etc., and they can say some pretty wild stuff out in the open kind of deal, or at least to the extent where it's like you're in on the joke. But in this situation, they don't have that relationship, so they're effectively strangers. So what Rakai said, go back to Mexico to this Rubius guy, it does come off as racist because there is no prior background, or at least there's no prior relationship to this. But on top of that, and again, I just want to ask, are you in the Americas currently?
Yes.
Okay, so you do live here, and I think Rakai also is in the Americas, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, and I do apologize if this kind of does turn into more like a political background. I just want to touch upon this topic real quick, but the political landscape in like the U.S. is atrocious right now, and we have constantly been seeing this horrific rhetoric of this racism between between everybody, realistically. So we have been hearing people on the far right constantly, like especially with the older folk. You might see like these clips all going around, like people being like, "Oh, you should go back to Africa, you should go back to Mexico," and they're using this like racism, this xenophobia against these marginalized groups, right? Rakai spitting this back out is not a good look because he's a young black man talking about this to someone that obviously he's never met before. There's no prior relationship to it, and it just comes off as malicious, which is why I kind of had that. That's why I really, when I typed that comment earlier, I did find that really off-putting because it seems like you were also kind of, in a sense, you're kind of giving more of the benefit of the doubt. They're like, okay, he said this, and yeah, you did kind of push back on it, but you're like, well, was it really malicious? But realistically, it doesn't matter. Racism is racism, and what he did was very racist, and it is very malicious, no matter the context. Whatever, it's just, I don't know. I guess it's just how I was raised. That, and also it's just like Rakai doesn't have the respect. Now, I'm gonna be real honest. I am not the biggest fan of Rakai, if it's not very obvious already. But in a sense, I also feel bad for him because I feel like he is a victim at the same time.
I don't have much. I mean, if he said it, he shouldn't have said it. You know, it was wrong. I do think that there are stupid is crazy. I do think that there are bigger implications to the rhetoric that is being pushed. But ultimately, like, I don't. Oh, I did want to say this to the stranger thing because I forgot this what you said in the beginning. I do think what you're saying is true. Like, the way that I joke with my homeboys, I wouldn't joke with you because I don't know you.
Exactly.
But with that being said, we're both not content creators. And I think that where that line does stop, and this is why Mr. Beast brought all these different content creators together, is because, hey, you guys act a certain way, you guys draw a certain attention, you guys do a certain type of gimmick or shtick or whatever as content creators. He did not bring those people on there to be different. He just did not. And so if your personality is the I don't know, misogynist, and they brought you on to the platform, they're gonna want you to be misogynist, gang. Like, I don't expect anything different.
But that's the problem, though. Why is that? Why is there that expectation? Realistically, like
you ask Mr. Beast.
No, yeah, that's fair. I'm not putting any blame on you personally, but I'm just saying, like, yes, you do invite all these different personalities together, and we have seen this in the past where it kind of does breed all this drama. But at the same time, it's like that's the other thing too. I don't really understand. Like, why did he invite Rakai? Why did he invite Rakai in particular, knowing that he is underage?
Because he's a capitalist.
What difference does that make? It's
he knows
like he's literally under 18. Like, I don't understand why like his parents signed off on this in the first place, which is why I say it's people in this inner circle.
Mr. Beast knows what's gonna make for the best video, what's going to get the most views, what's going to get the most eyes. He knows these things. So, like, right now, that video is sitting at 73 million, and the finale is sitting at 34 million, and the conversation around it has generated billions upon billions of more views. Why not bring Rakai on?
Well, that's what I'm saying when I say he's like a victim of this, because personally, I don't really find it appealing to have actual children mixing in with the adults for this content creation. And I'll stand on this with Ray, with Little RT, with that Rizzler kid on TikTok. Like, I don't really find the appeal with this. And I just feel like, personally, I feel like he really shouldn't be in this environment because it's a shame that he's dealing with the racism and the death threats, and it really is a tragedy. And I really feel like people in his inner circle have failed him. Now, that being said, obviously, Mr. Beast in particular, I definitely feel like he does have a part in this because he put him in this environment. to be within this circle, and knowing the type of rapport that Rakai brings about, I think it was definitely an error there, and I really don't agree with that in particular, I guess.
Yeah, but I will say, all of, for the most part, those streamers have some sort of past that should have you question why they were invited to Mr. Beast stream.
Oh, I definitely do. Yeah, of course. I will question all of that. I can be transparent about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, just Rakai in particular. I already mentioned I'm not the biggest fan of him. I definitely think that, I guess similar to Ray, as I mentioned, I don't really think they really should be in this environment per se. And I think that it's kind of a shame that he is dealing with this racism and this death threats from the different communities. But at the same time, Rakai is also inviting this hate when he's acting like such a. By the way, can I curse on this, or am I
Yeah,
gonna
yeah,
get
yeah.
off that? Yeah, he just kind of acts like an asshat. Really, he's, like, I guess it's his online personality, but even then, there again, it's similar, as I said. He's acting this way to people that are not really his, like, people in his circle.
Now, I am gonna have to give you some pushback though, because the concept of saying he's inviting this hate and the hate is death threats, I can't agree with, gang. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, let me not say it's invited hate, but I'm just saying that as a byproduct. Well, actually, hold on. Wait, let me rephrase that. I probably said that incorrectly. I do not. I will always condone death threats and racism in Rakai's case. I definitely think, considering the fact that he is underage and that he is a child, I really don't agree with people who do that. And I really do find it appalling that people, regardless of whatever community they are part of, whether it's the Spanish community, whether it's the Black community, whether it's like, different streaming circles, I really find it appalling and disgusting that they are just putting this exposure. And, like, for example, I think in your video you said that his mom got a call about, like, getting shot, and Rakai, of course, getting his bank statements leaked. I think that is really going too far. And you can say that's an effect of the streaming space, because there's a lot of parasocial dynamics, and it's just really weird to me, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But yeah, just, also, I guess, I don't know, there's a lot I can really go for with this, but Rakai in particular, yes, he is 17, yes, he is a minor, but at the same time, we also need to hold him accountable, because how is he going to learn? Like, for example, when you talk about him in your videos, yes, you do give I guess you can give him the benefit of the doubt, but at the same time, there are some moments where you are justifying his behaviors, when in actuality, it's not, it shouldn't be that simple. Like, where you are saying that, like, for example, what I mentioned about that comment with the whole go back to Mexico thing, you kind of give him the benefit of the doubt there, but realistically, no, what he did was racist, and he shouldn't be speaking to that. He shouldn't be speaking in that manner whatsoever. And similar to what happened with QT Cinderella and the Mari situation, like, the misogyny that brews and the sexism and just the hatred, it's just really appalling. And it's a shame that Rakai and his circle aren't really holding them accountable. Like, I don't understand where his mom is in all this.
Real quick, because there's a couple of things in there.
Yeah, I kind of threw everything in.
No, that's fine. Well, what you said that I was justifying it?
Not in the sense that I think you're like, oh, you're fully on board with it, but I'm saying when you're explaining your videos, it comes off as more of like a justification, or more of like you're giving him the benefit of the doubt, even when he's 100%
What do you think?
wrong.
Do you think that I'm justifying the behavior?
Well, in a sense, you kind of were, especially with that comment. Now, again, while you did walk that back, and I appreciate that, in the video, it did kind of seem like you were justifying it in a sense.
So then now, would you say that I'm justifying the behavior?
Well, it depends, because, yeah, you may have walked back that one particular comment, but that's not, he definitely walked back everything.
But I'm saying, what other behaviors am I justifying?
I guess his relations with the Clover Boys, and off the top of my head, I can't really think about that much right now. So I guess I'll concede on that. But realistically, it's just a shame that he's just facing all this, but at the same time, he is being failed. And
But
I
then also,
feel
I want to also be clear, like what, because I don't know, I don't think you know either. Are we sure that the Clover Boys are condoning this?
well, if they're constantly acting in a manner near the child and they're influencing him, I would say they have some form of responsibility and that they should be making sure that he's not in these types of positions, especially if he's going to be surrounded with, like, because as far as I'm aware, all the Clover Boys, they're all adults, right?
Right.
Rakai's the only child.
Uh-huh.
So they do have that responsibility to guide him and lead him so he's not going to make these mistakes and he's
But I'm
not going to be
saying,
put in these
how do we know that
situations.
they're how can we definitively say that like they're guiding him down the wrong path as opposed to guiding him down a positive
By
path?
the way how they interact with him, especially during the I think it was the Mafia Thon, where I don't remember which Clover Boy it was, but they're literally just cussing and fighting with Rakai. And it's just like, I don't understand why he's in that situation to begin with. I don't understand why he's in that environment. And
You ain't never been mad at a kid?
well, it's not that I'm saying I've never been mad at a kid. Obviously, I've been mad at a kid, but what I'm saying is at that level, at that scale,
Yeah,
especially on a global platform too.
no,
Like that is just
listen,
crazy.
I'll say this. I'll say this. I think that the way that Dez, because you're referring to Dez, I think the way that Dez handles conflict resolution is terrible. Right? I
Yeah.
can give you that. I don't know how the onus is on them saying, well, Dez, you yelled at him and cursed at him. The Clover Boys are not good role models to Rakai.
Yes, of course. Yeah. They're not really good role models. And you
No,
can
but
even make
how?
that.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know if that's a fair conclusion to come to. Dez, you cursed at him. The Clover Boys are not a good role model for Rakai. How do we get there?
But they're enabling his behavior, though.
By.
Well, what do you mean? Like, first of all, by the way how he acts, by the way how he carries himself, they are also enabling that behavior because it's just seeing how he's acting online with these different personalities.
But what I'm saying is, if they are also condemning these behaviors, how are they then enabling the behaviors?
It's a cause and effect situation. Like, I mean, maybe I might not be explaining this to the best of my abilities, so I do apologize about that. But
I think what you're this is what I think it happens. So I'll give this. When people say that people like Rakai, like the Kai, Tylil, Dez, Punga, whatever, they're enabling Rakai's behaviors. Most of the time, it's attributed to them allowing him to be online in places and spaces with them. Right? They're on stream with him, therefore they are enabling said behaviors. And I do think that that's a little bit of a stretch. Because somebody like this, by giving him an open space to do so instead of saying we don't do that. From what I remember, Tylil was like, yeah, he's wrong for this, that, and the third. Kai has called him out. Reggie has called him out. Ray has said stuff, but I don't know if Ray. Those are like the only couple of names that I really look at when it comes to them. But I've heard members of Clover call him out for his actions. That's one. Two, I don't think that we also know what's being said offline as well. This is
That's
something I
true.
got to earlier on in the conversation. Just because they don't sit down and, hey, Rakai, I condemn your actions with him right next to them on camera does not mean that they are not condemning said actions.
Okay. I'll be honest. Like I mentioned, I'm not really that big watching the stream, so most of the information I get about them is from you and other YouTubers.
And that's
So
fair.
I think you're definitely more knowledgeable on the topic of the Clover Boys. But just from what I've seen, I definitely feel like they are just a bad influence on this child's upbringing, and
why?
it's just
I just don't get that. I don't know how you get to the. This is what I'm saying. I don't know
it's
how
just
we
the
get to
behavior. It's the environment that they are all a part of. It's all this destructive behavior, and it's just like we constantly see it with. Again, I don't know the other Clover Boy, but I
what's
think
the destructive behavior?
the cursing, the what do you call it, the sexism, the again you mentioned even your homophobia, the misogyny. It's a cycle that's being, culminated in this young child, And it's a shame because it's all these influence. Like, it's not just like, oh, one and done. No, it's constant cycle. It's going back from when he even first started and becoming integrated in this community.
I'll say this. I'll extend you that olive branch.
Okay.
They are around him, and I'm gonna send this out for Carl. They are around him being racist, misogynistic, homophobic, et cetera, and therefore they are failing him in these regards. I would much rather in this situation talk about the larger scale and the larger systems in play here, as opposed to the individuals. Granted, when they're sexist around him and they're this, that, and the third around him, that is still wrong. I want people to know that I'm not condoning that. But I do want to be clear. There's a bigger systematic thing going on that should be conversed about. Because at that point he probably shouldn't be on stream, but I don't know if, because he can't, it's not like he didn't come into the streaming world like this. He came into the streaming world like this. So the people around him are failing him. Everybody's failing him. Like, at some point we'll get to the point where we say, like, everybody's failing Rakai. Fuck it. And that's not a terrible statement, but I just don't know the intricacies to come to that conclusion just yet. I think that sometimes we just take big leaps and bounds. I can't say that they're 100% failing him. Maybe that's where I'm ultimately trying to get here. And also the system is probably a better conversation to have. They're wrong, though. If they're around him being sexist and racist and misogynistic and homophobic, all these, they're wrong.
Of course, yeah. Same sentiment, really. I don't know, to an extent, I guess I'm kind of conflicted at some of these situations involving this young child being in these spaces and being in this drama. Just because, he's still growing, he's still maturing. I think it's great that he kind of had this opportunity for him to make a name for himself. I just think the way he's going about it is very problematic, and it's constantly just drafting drama and causing issues to where it's just affecting him in his personal life, because, as other people have mentioned in the past, people are just jumping on the hate train and they're just using this as an excuse to just spread their hate. And I don't know,
this is why I don't like having these conversations. Not you per se, this comment. Even before he got famous, he was already acting like a little thug at like 12 or 14. I can't sit in these types of conversations because this commentary is what arises of this. Yeah. A little thug is very much dog whistle.
I would not go that far.
I'm just saying what happens when we have these conversations. Yeah.
But we do also have to look at how his upbringing was, because there's definitely been some things missing.
Yeah, and we don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know.
I can't speak on it because I don't know. I saw somebody in the chat earlier. He's fatherless. That one is a little thug meme. Wow, this is crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy. I wouldn't go that far.
Yeah. Guardian, I appreciate you. Let me bring up Carl next, and then talk about this other video.
Yeah, of course. I mean, appreciate you for having me on, and I appreciate you walking back your comments about the back to Mexico bit.
Yeah, take care.
All right, everyone. Cheers.
All right, last one. Carl, you were active in the chat. How you doing today?
Hey, it's a blessing, Isaac.
Whoa. Were you on headphones? Hello? Okay. That was kind of crazy. He at work, he not unemployed, chat. Let me play this. Oh wait, he's back. He's back. Hold on. Hopefully this is not crazy.
Hello.
Hello?
Yeah. Um. So don't mind the accent. I'm from Africa. So about Rakai, I think the guy he's being influenced by people. As someone who has come out from that age of 17, I'm 21 now. I think the
Carl,
guy, yeah.
Carl. I want you to know your mic is like really, really bad.
Hmm.
Are you on headphones or something like that?
Yeah, I just took it out.
Oh shit.
This
Okay.
is
There we
better.
go. Yeah.
Hello?
I can hear you. Can you hear me? Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
All right, so I said he's being influenced by the people around him. The guy that came before me, he said it all. Those the people around him are the people that influences him. Without and I know some people are going to say, "Oh, they are not his parents, they are not his father, they are not his mother." True, but they are. He's like a little brother to them. The best they can do, the least they can do, is try to tell him what's right and from what's wrong. You can't just keep him there and tell him to go wild, just do whatever he wants. It's not like that. Now he's receiving death threats, he's receiving backlash from things he has done. And why I don't condone things like that, it's called consequences. Consequences of your action. You can't do things to people and expect you can't do bad things to people and expect good things in return. So that's what I have to say.
I will say though, but because when we have these conversations and these talking points, we act as though his actions are going uncriticized by people around him. They are. He's getting criticized.
How do you know?
First and foremost, we've seen it. We've seen them criticize him, not specifically to his face, but we've seen them condemn actions of Rakai. Then, based off of their words, we would have to just trust it. They've said that they've had conversations with him. But I think that it's interesting that you would flip it and say, how do I know that they condemn him or that they have condemned him? But not say to yourself, well, I don't know if they have condemned him. I don't know if they've done that. I do think that that's interesting. But we have seen these things happen in real time before.
I do think that from the living the parts of Rakai, the people itself is also a problem. That's the consumers of his videos and stuff. The internet itself is a problem. I think we as people, we put too much negativity into things. While yes, I do understand the things he does is not right, but the objective truth is he is 17. And I typed in chat, which any of you that was 17 that haven't done the things this guy has done, tell me. And some guy said, but you don't have money when you were doing those things at 17. It doesn't matter. You passed through those things, you did those things. Some of you went to store and you guys stole something from that store. Nobody knew. Some of you told a girl, fuck you. Some of you told a girl, you're a bitch. So it's not to like how do I put it? It's not to support what he's doing, but I think we knowing how it feels at that age, the irresponsibility, you just trying to go wild at that age, we should try and speak on it on the internet instead of trying to speak of just the negative. We speak on negative, and we should try to what do you call it? Sure. Advise him on what to do. It's the internet. He will see it. If people come on the video and instead of saying Rakai is a monkey, Rakai is this, they say, Rakai, please do better, do this, do this. I was your age and I did this, but see where it landed me, things like that. If more and more people start taking that approach, I think, I don't really, I'm not much of, but I think it could change. It can change, but he can't just do it overnight. He needs some people to help him up. So that's just my opinion.
Appreciate you, Carl.
All right.
All right. Let's flip scripts for 2 seconds. Then I'm gonna go. This is for the lover in you. No, let me stop. I saw this TikTok the other day and it was a very interesting take.
18, 19, 20-year-old girls who are sleeping with Clav on stream are going to regret that so much later in life because they're publicly defaming themselves. They're publicly showing themselves getting disrespected by a really controversial figure who is not well received by the general public. I'm not trying to slut shame or anything like that. It's just certain parts of your life are meant to be private. And if you Google your name and there's an 8-hour stream of you going out, partying, getting wasted, and letting yourself be seen by everyone in the entire world in that state, no one's going to want to date you, right? No one's going to want to hire you. And it's really sad because I think these girls probably think it's cool, like probably think it's a fun story to tell, but they don't realize the long-term effects of that and like that how that decision could impact them later in life, right? And these aren't just OF girls either. They're also girls, like just normal college girls. And I don't know, I think it's quite sad. And yeah, it's just such a stupid decision to make.
Now, I do think it is a stupid decision to make. All these things are true. I don't disagree with her from that perspective. But what I do think is interesting is the conversation of basically, I got to figure out a way to word this before the video comes out, but whoring yourself out for a male streamer. Now, I have a 79% male audience. And when I do these videos in which I try to give criticism as to what these women who participate in this content are doing, / calling out the men for the things that they do on these streams, I for sure will get cooked. It's inevitable. I will get cooked. Now, with that being said, I still do want to do it because I do think that these things do have ramifications and repercussions, specifically to those that want to build a career. Everybody else, you're just having fun. I don't agree with the whole digital footprint thing. Y'all know that I don't agree with that. So, yeah. But I do think that it's interesting what happens to other streamers and content creators that are women that look to have this as a make or break thing, that go onto these streams with these men and think that like sleeping with clavicular or getting sexualized by these other men is the way to go about doing these things. I don't know. I got to sit down and write the script out more. I will, like, I'm going to get cooked for it for sure, but you gotta, sometimes, like we said earlier in the conversation, you got to get cooked sometimes, gang. Got to get cooked sometimes. So it is what it is. Damn, this nigga done made 90 videos about Angel Reese. All right, y'all. I'm gonna get off. I appreciate everybody for coming out, sticking around for almost 4 hours now. Damn, a streaming game. Streaming game is crazy, twin. I will see you guys later. New videos tomorrow, probably 2 tomorrow. Bye, guys.